What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to another installment of the Casually Chelsea show, where we recap basically the week's worth of news and things that have led up to this show. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to cuck you guys out. So wait until the very end. We'll start talking about all the fun stuff that you guys want us to talk about. But before we go ahead and start, shout out to the panel. We got Ahmed, Will, Andrew, Chris, Oliver, Alex, and Scott, all here in one spot for you guys to watch for your entertainment. If you guys are gonna you are gonna enjoy this stream. But if you're watching this in the future, wherever you are, if you're here right now, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new here, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of our streams. Check out the links in the description down below. Leave a comment, let us know what you think. And last but not least, make sure you check out our memberships. They are as low as 99p, as low as 99p. So make sure you guys check that out. You do get some perks. Before we go ahead and start, got to give out the shout outs to the proper casuals who are members of that tier: Winter Surfer, Daniel, Strasbourg, Steve, OG Turbo Jesus, Dark, and Scott. Big up to you guys for being supporters of the channel. And if you are a member, make sure you spam those emojis in the chat. But before we get this, let's go ahead.
I forgot one.
Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Let's start off with this one. A little teaser to get us into the big news. JT going to Leicester City. We haven't talked about this one, so I'm interested to hear you guys.
I forgot that you.
I do news from 2 months ago.
Yes,
yeah, John Terry.
I was going to say this is like 2 weeks ago. Fucking hell!
Yeah, this is old as hell. But we never talked about it, so here I am. I want to get you guys' opinion. John Terry is set to join. Yeah, slow, but we'll ramp it up. We'll ramp it up in a few minutes. All right. John Terry is set to join Leicester City as an assistant from the Telegraph. And then here we got Ornstein confirming John Terry joining Leicester City coaching staff alongside Craig Shakespeare. Both will be part of Dean Smith backroom team. LCFC bringing them in on interim basis until end of season in bid to save the the Premier League status. What was interesting for me about this is this all kind of happened at the same exact time that Frank Lampard became interim manager at Chelsea. And prior to that happening, also, there was some rumors that JT would join as like an assistant manager or manager, like the main staff of the next manager. He was interested in that position. So I don't know. I guess I'll put this out there. Do you guys think there's some correlation between like John Terry kind of avoiding Frank in a sense? No. Wherever he goes? Go ahead, Will.
I mean, he's been a part of Dean Smith's backroom staff before, so this might have been on the cards before, or not before, but just after the talks to bring Lampard back anyway. So I don't think it's anything personal. I just think he has more of a coaching relationship with Dean Smith and his team. So I just think it makes sense for him to go there instead.
I thought there was actually more. What's the name? I think there was this appointment was couple of maybe a week. They actually put that process, not like we with Lampard. Mm-hmm. I think they already knew that they're gonna go for him, because they played without a manager for, you know what I'm saying? So I think they had already planned. So I think John Terry already knew way before Lampard that he's gonna go with him to, you see what I'm saying? So I think it was a little bit more pre-planned.
I guess all those rumors about John Terry joining the backroom staff or the next manager at Chelsea was probably just rumors, nothing more.
I think it was just rumors and speculation. There was not really any kind of massive credible reports that were alluding to anything like that.
Do you guys think there's any sensibility to this comment? Like, this is what I feel. It feels that way, at least. Because I'm surprised that JT hasn't worked with Lamps yet, even at Everton.
I'm not.
I wouldn't be surprised. JT knows more about the game than Lampard, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was literally gonna say, like, I don't think it's anything, because, like, if John Terry worked under Lampard, he isn't really gonna learn much. But I think what John Terry is actually doing quite smart. He's actually learning over like a lot of coaches and trying to like pick up pieces. I think he could actually become like a decent coach. With the difference between like Lampard and Stevie G, like they don't actually try to learn underneath managers, and it's kind of like backfiring because they don't actually have any experience. So like just John Terry doing this again, like it's actually like quite good for him. It's nothing about Lampard or nothing. He just wants to learn from other
I
coaches
thought
who actually
JT
know what
said
they're
that
doing.
he's not going to manage the clubs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did say-
JT.
He doesn't want to. Yeah, he doesn't want to
JT
manage.
Yeah, I just think for him, maybe because he has a good relationship with Dean Smith, it's just that they just agreed to help him out for the time being. Something like that. It makes more sense anyway.
Probably
It's not like there's a beef thing
good
between
paycheck.
Lampard and JT.
Just me with my conspiracy theory hat on, you know.
Yeah, literally,
Playing
he's
devil's
going to work
advocate
with a
and all
manager
that.
he worked with before. Like his only 2 coaching jobs that he's had are both under the same manager. Like that's all it is.
Fair enough.
Was it?
We'll
He-
see.
I think
Just to stir the pot a little bit, by the way, that's another interim manager who's currently doing better than our interim managers right now. Just to stir that pot a little bit.
Oh, the
At least his team got a
suffering is
win.
not enough for you.
I think JT coming in with a coach their first game and win their second one. That's just my prediction. I don't know.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah, I didn't hear
I was
it.
just saying now that they're in, I think they'll win their first game and lose their first game and win their second game. That's what I think is going to happen with JT and this new team. That's all.
Maybe.
To be fair, JT can set up a
Leicester,
good
you say?
defense.
Yeah, I think that Dean Smith is going to lose his first game and then win his second one. That's what I think. So.
Oh no,
Wasn't
he's
he
already
already-
won his first game,
He
bro.
already won.
I know. I'm just reacting to the late. You know what I mean? Of course I know.
Oh, okay, okay.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
oh,
You know what else is late? Your mouth and your
Yeah.
audio. Like
Yeah,
you're
you're
moving like
moving.
a Japanese
Oh, no, that
dove, dude.
wasn't.
Jesus Christ.
Wait,
Thank you.
Did you just compare the Chuck E. Cheese to Jesus?
All right, on to the next bit of news I have here. This is a little more recent. This is more plans towards
a week ago.
before I go and do that. Big up to Strasbourg Steve. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Jacob Murphy's on fire. Your defense is terrified.
6-1.
Yeah.
Oh, Newcastle. Yeah, that goal today was fucking wild. That was a nice goal.
first half, man. I was good, man.
Yeah.
Perisic at
fucking-
left back. Who would have thought?
Jeez.
Tottenham got.
I
Okay.
still don't. I'm
Pummeled.
still not 100%
Sorry.
about Newcastle. I think it's like sometimes those high score games they don't actually show a lot. They show that you can score 2-3 goals and quick, but that does not reflect the team overall as a season.
Sheesh.
So
Back to back super chats. Thank you so much, Steve. Alex Isak's on fire. Your defense is terrified. Okay.
By the way, I just want to
Isak is
say,
on fire. Well,
Keep
Call
going with
the
your
fire
whole team if you're
department.
sending super chats.
since we're talking about Tottenham, X fucking killed me today. His comment when he called Delaney
Yeah.
Lenny from fucking of Marshalldbdx, man. Fucking comment.
I was
Yeah,
gonna,
man.
I was
X
gonna
is
say,
funny.
what do you mean? As because like Newcastle, obviously this season they've been so solid, like in the back and midfield,
Big
and,
up,
and
Slens.
again top 4. But I think they look very convincing this whole season.
They had a little bit of a low patch not too long ago. They lost a
but-
few games.
It's kind of expected. Even Man United have low patches.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next bit of news I want to talk to you guys about, which is the club's plans for outgoings, pretty much, coming up now in May. No, in June. I'm sorry. They have 1 month window to sell players, don't they? Something like that.
Yeah, June.
Right, anyways, yeah. So it starts in June or it ends in June.
Well,
What,
the
wait,
deadline.
what?
The
Oh
UEFA
yeah, their deadline is in June.
It's June the 30th. That's the deadline for the
Opens up.
UEFA monitoring period.
Gotcha.
Oh, is that
Gotcha.
FFP? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
thought you were talking about
here we
transfer
got-
window. I was like, no, that's longer than 1 month.
The transfer window, the transfer window opens up in end of May, beginning of June, and then they have until the 31st to fix up their books. Okay, so Chelsea had executives from Brighton Sporting, Barcelona, and more for their match against Real Madrid. Atalanta had recent meetings. Player sales are massively on the agenda, and meetings are ongoing ahead of the new manager appointment. So I think with this being said, clubs are going to try to take advantage of the fact that we need to sell players before that deadline. That being said, Fabrizio Romano here reporting, I'm not aware of stories of Chelsea being forced to sell players due to FFP. Chelsea are 100% confident on the project. They will need to offload players, but it was part of the original idea. So I guess putting aside the fact that they're in trouble for getting rid of players, that they're in a dire need to get rid of players. They do need to get rid of players, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that big a deal. And then we got Felix Johnston here saying, in line with Rafinha news, which I'm not sure what he's referring to with Rafinha news. But,
apparently, it was reported that we're interested in buying Rafinha.
Wow, I have not seen that anywhere, but we'll see what happens with that.
I hope.
Don't worry, you'll let us know. You'll let us know next week.
I'll let you guys know.
By the way, there's other news. I just don't know if it's too fresh for your channel because it's like it should come back maybe a week later.
Maybe wait till the end and then you'll see all the news.
Reece James, apparently Barcelona wants Reece
I
James.
saw that today.
Alex,
I wasn't even going to entertain that one.
Alex, can you wait till July to tell us that, please?
Yeah.
In line with the Rafinha news, understand Chelsea are open to selling Sterling, Pulisic, and Ziyech this summer. Chelsea won exchange transfer this summer. Pulisic interest from Juve, potential part exchange with Vlahovic. Raheem Sterling has interest from Real Madrid, which I find to be a very odd one. I'm not going to lie, but I don't know. Can you really see it with the Sterling performances this season?
That kid that destroyed Chelsea, I don't think that right side is secured.
If Asensio leaves,
I was going to say that's the biggest thing is I think Asensio's leaving on a free, so they will need a backup winger on the bench. I don't think he's going to be starting.
I don't think Rodrigo is the automatic starter at Real Madrid. He's
I think he is for.
He does play quite a bit, doesn't he?
It depends on who they get in.
Yeah.
I think it depends on who they get in.
I don't think there's.
You just don't think he's going to be a main guy for the next few years. That's what you're basically saying, right?
I tell you what, like I'll be honest, like the only reason why he wouldn't be a main guy is if he decides to leave to go and play left wing somewhere. It's like that's the only way I think he
I don't think he's going to play anywhere left wing.
I don't think we have to sell 10. We just have to hit a number.
Wait,
I don't know if we have to actually get a number.
We have to make 93 million.
Yeah, I thought yeah.
With Mason Mount and another player, you could probably get that done.
Well, it's depending where we sell Mason. I thought
blunt mount and regular mount. Sell them.
There you go.
We even.
Yeah, they're pretty much
Or is Texas Blue saying we need to sell 10 in terms of?
I mean, he's not wrong. Also, like we do need to.
It depends what he means by 10 minimum. 10 minimum. Yeah. He doesn't say nothing about FFP in this.
I was gonna say that's the thing. He's talking about.
There's nothing he needs to clarify. He just said 10 minimum.
I think he just means he wants to sell 10 players.
Yeah.
Everybody reads too much into it. He said what he said.
Like,
I think it's what we're talking about. Like we have to sell players.
That's what he means.
With Sterling though, if we do get rid of Sterling, I want us to bring in Mane or something because I think Mane would be on the cheap.
I said Mane, Jesus Christ.
What's wrong with
you guys want to take Mane?
If we sell Sterling, I'll take a Mane, but I don't want to lose Sterling. Actually, I really don't want to lose Sterling for
you guys want to take Mane?
Mane could be based on what?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think? I'll ask Alex this and then the rest of us. Alex, you think Mane is a top player? You think he's a Poch-type player? Because Poch is a fake.
No, he's not.
Okay,
he's not.
I don't either. I don't think he's a top. I don't
know. He's not. He's not. First of all, he is too unpredictable. First of all, if Poch is coming, Poch likes what's the name?
Sign him then. Sign him. Manu Panchavez. Sign him.
He likes the space killers. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see previous. Sterling. I don't know. Sterling on the wings. We saw it. You have to build the team around them for that stats to play. Yeah. I don't think we have enough time for it or patience for it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think. I think his best is probably right now. It's with the striker behind him, zooming around the capable number 9. We always said that Sterling needs capable number 9 to play beside him. So for me, I don't. People think that we're gonna sell players, but we're not gonna sell amount of players like people think we will, because for one specific reason, if we sell players, we also need to bring players. We don't have money or place in the, you know what I'm saying? We don't have that that pool, like Champions League, that you know what I'm saying?
I think it depends.
Not a lot of
If we don't finish, if we don't finish in Europe,
Scott.
if we don't finish in Europe, we do not need any more than like 23, 24 players.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, what you do is you're gonna bring the players that not top shelf players. You're gonna you're gonna bring prospects, right, Scott? Are those prospects are gonna guarantee you top 4? No.
No, but then like I think
you see what I'm saying?
I think that's what I know. We're going to get probably into it more later on, but I think that's then what one area of Pochettino coming in that like he did that with Spurs. He took a couple of players who were either effectively nobodies or guys who were starting from a level and turned them into something better, young guys. That I think the owners see that he can maybe do that with some of our players.
Also in the chat,
we'll get into it later on.
I don't know who said it in the chat. They said that Mane and Poch reunited. Poch never managed Mane.
Yeah.
Mane signed for Southampton in summer 2014. Poch has left and gone to
Chris's
Spurs.
fetish.
So.
Okay.
Also, like I disagree. I think he is a Poch player. My biggest thing is what is the difference between him and Sterling?
My thing is.
Are you serious?
My thing
what's the difference?
Okay. Mane is not good in direct like Sterling, but when Mane is due, he does not lose his possession 50-50 every time you give it to the Sterling.
Well, what you gonna say
I
about
can put the money that 50-50 that ball comes back if Sterling controls the ball first. Like I'll pass it to Sterling, it will be a 50-50 that ball comes back. With Mane, it will be 75. It will stay up. He will not lose the ball.
I mean, we've seen plenty of instances where both of those are wrong. Of like where we've seen plenty of instances.
Again, are you teaching me about English? Instances are not another thing. Everybody is good in instance. Everybody like this is why you usually don't watch YouTube to make your judgment on the player because it's made out of instances.
Well, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that.
Whose pussy's crying?
My issue with
is that?
Whose pussy's crying?
Will, go ahead, man.
My issue with potentially signing Mane is I don't think he'd fit in this squad. I agree with Scott. I don't think he's necessarily not a Poch player. I just don't think we're gonna sign Mane, a player who doesn't really necessarily. One, we're not guaranteed to sell Sterling, so that. Why would we sign Mane to start with? And also, we've just.
I don't think anybody asked if Mane is the Poch player. They asked if Sterling is a Poch player.
Andrew asked if Mane was a Pochettino player.
And the thing is we've got Moreira, who we spent £88 million on. He will get game time, and he will be one of the players we build around. There's no point in getting Mane if you've got Sterling already.
No. It's no point of getting Mane. Like I said, it's a Chris's fetish.
And plus, Mane is like.
I just don't understand the point. Like, the thing for me as well with Mane is I think he's the thing. One of the positives you can say about Sterling that you can't say about Mane is I think Sterling can play on both sides, whereas I think Mane now in his career is much better as a left winger than a right winger. Like him on the right just doesn't look.
I don't think Mane is as technical as Sterling. That's why I think this is
the biggest like I would say the biggest
struggles
as well
in
with
the Bundesliga. There's more technical team over there.
It's not even just that for me. Like again, the thing for me, as I said, like what's the difference as well is because one of the biggest things that people get on Sterling for is that he misses so many chances. Mane's the exact same.
I don't think he misses the same.
I disagree with you on that.
He's the exact same. Him and Salah with the same thing. Like they scored a fuck ton of goals, but he also missed a fuck ton of chances. But it didn't matter because they also scored a fuck ton of goals. It's the same thing with Sterling.
I'll say
like Sterling when he was at City. Sterling when he was at City was the same thing. Like he missed a load of chances, but he also scored a load of goals because they created some.
Mane has more physicality though, Scott.
Like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
He's strong and Sterling. No doubt.
I think for me with Mane, is that he's actually had a regressive season in Bayern. Like injuries have caught up to him now. Like he's had quite a few injuries this season.
I don't even know why we're talking about Mane.
If we're being honest, he's been on the decline ever since they won the title. Do you remember that lockdown season he had? He was awful.
But the season
it's because it's hard to motivate the players after that.
Last season at Liverpool was good.
last season they had to move him to striker because Luis Diaz was better on the wing.
Yeah, and he was a bit more mobile. He could do a bit more there. He had that mobility to do something as a striker.
But that's a rock and roll. That's the rock and roll kind of setup. You cannot pretend that you can do this for all your life. It's not sustainable.
Fair. I think
you can win. You can dominate for 3-4 seasons, but career is not 3-4 seasons. If you not invest in this is why I was never on the board with Scott and everything, that Liverpool is something we need to look up to, because it's not. Because it's unsustainable. Even City doesn't do that. City don't do that.
Not the Liverpool style of play is not what I want. It's the backroom staff. It was like the Liverpool way of signing players was what I wanted post the last 2 seasons. It wasn't there. No, I hate the way they play. I hate their way they play so much. The way they play.
No, I mean it's fine to play. It's just not sustainable. It's okay to watch.
It's not sustainable. And I don't necessarily hate the way they play in terms of. It's kind of like the same as you. It's unsustainable. Also, it's so easy to play through. If you just have a couple of technically good players, and we had a guy who was technically awful as a footballer in Werner, but because he could stretch the field, it was so easy to play through. You could just play him in behind. And it just meant we stretch the pitch, and it means they are constantly running.
But isn't it the same thing with Manchester City, Scott? Isn't it the same thing with Manchester City?
Is different because of the way.
No, I'm not saying the style. I'm saying those odd games. If you properly set up against City, you can beat them in their own game. Not like play same style as they are. Just try to stretch those players on the side, and you can beat them. Same thing with Liverpool.
You can beat City, but I think it's a lot easier to beat Liverpool than it is City. I saw a terrible Everton team under Lampard outplay Liverpool and play through.
Oh, it's terrible, Liverpool, man. Come on, Liverpool. It's like your argument is like, oh my God, somebody beat Chelsea this season.
But no, I saw that. No, Alex, even the season, right, where they went unbeaten up until a point, there were so many games that season they should have lost. That because the other team were not clinical enough, they got away with it. They got played through so many times. They got outplayed by Watford twice. They got outplayed by so many teams that season, and because the other team was not clinical enough, the way Liverpool are so easy to play through. They're so easy to play through. City's a bit different. City, even sometimes when you try and match them, it's not enough. And then there'll be some games where you can play through them or you can beat them if depending on how you.
I think if Sterling is leaving, he probably will go to Germany. That will be it will suit them like crazy over there. That high line.
I agree about the goals he can score over there. Probably a lot. At Bayern, I can see it go now too if he does.
Yeah.
No one else.
Anyways, let's. That was a good discussion. I didn't think Mane would come into it, but that is something to look into, especially considering he's probably not going to be staying at Bayern. Almost 70 of you guys watching. Make sure you are smashing that like button. It does help out the channel tremendously. Let's get it to 40 likes. Let's see if we can get that number there, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, which we've spoken about before, but there's been a few recent updates regarding this player. So MacAlister to Chelsea. It's looking more and more likely, Fabrizio here reporting that Chelsea are actually in this race to get Alexis MacAlister along with Manchester United and Liverpool. These clubs have approached the players' camp to discuss the project. And then on top of that, another piece of news here is that Alexis MacAlister is not a priority for Chelsea. They understand and know the conditions of the deal, but at the moment, Chelsea has different priorities. Do you think it's a mistake that MacAlister is not a priority for Chelsea, considering we need a DM? Or do you think maybe when they say it's not a priority... Yeah, I know. But when we think about maybe when they say it's not a priority, maybe they're referring to the fact that they're going to be going for a Manu Kone or a Lavia instead.
I want both, Marshall. I'll be honest.
Both isn't a bad choice. They're both really good players.
Honestly, I don't mind. I might be
depends who's leaving.
But in the sense of, I don't mind if we build very patiently. I don't mind if there's 2 to 3 signings, we get them right, and then next year we reevaluate more of our issues. I think if Kovacic and Mount are going to leave, which it looks like they could, I think why not reinvest some of that money or set aside some money for 2 midfielders. Lavia is a profile that we desperately need. We've seen how good he is at such a young age, and MacAlister's at a promising age, not young, which is good. He's got a bit of experience, technically good in most phases. and he's won. He's also a winner at this age as well. He's got experience in big moments with Argentina. I think it makes sense personally, but if the club don't go in for him, I guess the price might be a lot. It's another Premier League team we're buying off of, which could up the price as well. But yeah, I think if we can stop him from going to Liverpool or Manchester United, I think that'd be fantastic because he's a really good player.
Anyone else have an opinion? All right, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, for me, this is where you say, where's he fit? Yeah, I think if Kovacic leaves, I think he's the one to take over Kovacic. Like, he isn't a one to sit back, is he? As far as I'm aware, he doesn't sit back. Anyway, he's like a central midfielder and 8, like a Kovacic. So he's a replacement for Kovacic. That's why it's not a priority. If Kovacic stays, then I don't think we'd go for him. He's not what I look at. I want an actual DM, but, like, yeah, he's just a replacement for Kovacic, I think it is. That's what it is. Because we've seen like Kovacic links like going to City or something. It's like a line replacement instantly.
I don't think he is the replacement for Kovacic because we've already got the Kovacic replacement.
Who?
Enzo.
No, but I think
I mean, maybe it does depend on how the next manager lines up as well. That could come into it. You're not going to see MacAlister come here as a backup player. That's not going to happen.
That's what he'll be because he ain't playing 10 because. If reports are to be believed, we're still looking at Felix, and we've got Nkunku coming in anyway. So he's not coming to start as the number 10.
Exactly.
He is not going to play. If Poch comes in, we're most likely going to play a 4-2-3-1. Excuse me. Which, if that's the case, then he's not going to be in the pivot, realistically. And even if he's going to play there, he's not playing there over Enzo. So if you're bringing MacAlister and you're bringing him in as a depth piece, and maybe it's just me, but I don't like the idea of bringing in depth pieces before your starting 11 is sorted.
Or you buy, or Scott, to add on to your point as well, I guess as well, buying a player for depth is not necessarily the best way to look at it either. Maybe like buying a player who can start for us next year and then you phase them out into a depth player and then we replace them, I think might be the better way to build the squad. So I do see that. But yeah, if we're talking about our opinions on the player, I think he's great. But
yeah,
we gotta look at the bigger picture. That's not a player that he's not coming. I can tell you, he's not coming.
Obviously, just quickly, if you go into the future, the MacAlister rumors may or may not be existing anymore. But what I would say,
I'm not going to the future, Ahmed.
I'm just stating for the audience, not to you, Alex, personally. But I just think for me, with the rumors of like Kovacic leaving and that stuff, it doesn't make sense that you bring in an Kone next to Alavia, and then that makes sense for me. It just works like that. Obviously, Kone is not actual traditional 6; he's much more of a box to box, and it works well if you're trying to rebuild that midfield anyway.
I see that.
Hey, just bring in Ugarte and it's sorted.
Yeah, you can also bring in. Listen, man, you don't need to necessarily just bring in 2 midfielders. We need more than 2 midfielders anyway. At the end of the day, so if you can bring in Ugarte, maybe have the 3 of them switch around, it would be great.
I still think Mount is staying. If Poch coming,
you think Mount's staying?
Oh yeah, I still think.
I'm hearing like a manager. You'll probably see in a few weeks, Marshall, but like I'm hearing a manager.
Look, the manager. If we pick the manager, he still wants to talk to the player and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he will say like, "Look, you're big, and you're like a whatever in my plans or whatever."
Now the contract will be down to Mount if he wants to budget.
Yeah, it's down to Mount.
Deal. It won't be down to the manager. It'll be down.
Of course, it won't. I'm saying it will be down to the Poch to convince him. That's my whole point.
And yeah, and
the Poch.
And also the other thing I was just gonna say quickly is that I think it was just reported recently that Kone rejected PhD, so it's gonna be a lot more easier to get a guy like him than it is gonna be to get a MacAlister type of player at the end of the day, even price wise as well. If you think about it,
Poch drop it.
If it was me, I'll go for Rice.
Reports are to be believed, then MacAlister will cost nearly twice as much as someone like Kone.
Yeah, Kone costs roughly 30 to 35 million euros.
Yeah, something £5 million. Like you're looking at MacAlister between anywhere from 60 to 70 million pounds, something like that. So.
I was hoping to let this one. I was hoping to let this one slide under the radar, but I'm going to address it right now. Hey Eugene, however the fuck you pronounce your name. Listen, I get you think the Exodus is right around the corner and you're overreacting like a maniac and you're evaluating Roman's 19-year reign and comparing it to the 1 year, not even a year of Boli. And I know that you love your minerals and stuff, but calm down, dude. All right, it's not that deep. It's really not that deep.
But that
okay?
comment is also stupid, by the way. Do you know why that comment that's just been there?
This comment and many other ones before it. I've been ignoring it, but dude, stop spamming my chat, please.
But Marshall, the point is that no one has said Kone is Kovacic or like Kovacic in like all of his traits. I mean, they're both box to boxes who kind of struggle sometimes in the first phase and are decent in the build up. Like in between, in transition, that's literally what was kind of there.
Can you?
Also, I want to let you know, Roman picked.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, lead manager.
Let's get to that later.
Bro, AVB, sorry, Lampard.
Hey, Sarri's decent, man.
Let me just add
elite,
to that,
bro. He said elite. I'm talking elite. If there is no way you can call AVB, Grant, fucking Sarri, Di Matteo, Lampard. All of these dudes are not elite managers. And Roman was responsible.
He did hire
Eugene, as your daddy would say. There you go, bro. I gotta read the super chat. Gerard O'Connell, thank you so much for the €5 super chat. Hi guys, should Thiago Silva have been offered player manager role for the final 8 games? I don't want to put that.
I would take it, and Bal could be assistant manager to Thiago. There we go.
If I knew Lampard was the other option, I would take Thiago Silva.
The only reason why I say no is because I don't. This guy, let this fucking guy rest, man. This guy's had to basically look after the defense for half the season. He had to do that as well under the Lampard as well. Even at times under Tuchel, he had to mop up that defense. Bro, just let him rest. The dude's 38 or 39. Just let him rest.
Bella Silva. Hi, Bella Silva, whatever her name is. Harry's wife. Just do that.
This is also, apparently, this is true. Yeah, Roman wanted Poch twice.
Yeah, he wanted him to replace Conte.
Yeah, did you see the private chat what Ahmed put in there?
Yeah. We're going to get to all that stuff for sure. I already have that news.
By the way, Patrick, that's also not true because he actually bidded for Luka Modric. So,
my God, it's like, can I just... Listen, if you're trolling,
please, people, man.
Can I just ask? Can I just ask this? I'm all for trolling, okay? I'm all for trolling, but please, can you get your facts straight? He bid for Luka Modric, bro. And if any chance, if there was any inkling for Spurs that they were willing to sell Harry Kane for us, Roman Abramovich would have been like a cheap suit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so please just stop this. Anything Spursy, like I guess you guys in the chat, some of you in the chat wouldn't have taken Gareth Bale in 2013. Then, if he was offered to us, right? You wouldn't have taken him. I'm guessing you because he played for Spurs, you wouldn't have taken Gareth Bale, right? Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to look that far. Some of these guys don't want to take fucking Kane, and could be desperate for a Kane right
now. People in the chat, would you take Harry Kane at Spurs? Sorry, Harry Kane at Chelsea.
Yeah, 100%. He's a goal scorer who's actually got good link up. Doesn't need to rely pace on this game.
Yeah, let's make a poll. Why not? Let's have a poll.
Why wouldn't anyone want him? And especially under
Modric was on the Modric was on the what? The yacht. What the hell?
The yacht.
The yacht.
Was on the yacht.
I think he meant to put yacht.
Sorry, the yacht. I do apologise. Yeah, sorry.
Big run. No, big.
Is there anyone on this panel that wouldn't take Kane? That should be the question.
No.
Who's choosing that?
Yes, I will not take Kane. He's a Tottenham player.
Wait, I was joking.
Scott won.
Just
Scott
JK,
won. He
JK,
said
JK,
Lukaku is better suited for us.
I did not say he was better suited than Kane. Behave yourself. Fucking behave.
Alex, you man, baby.
Oh, bro, your camera, man.
Behave yourself.
The camera doesn't agree with
Even
you.
your camera has disagreed with you, man. Jesus. All right. Let's move on to the next bit of news. This is kind of a little bit of a roundup, a quick, we'll shoot it and talk about it. We'll move on to the next one. There's a few of these. Transfer rumors and news. Okay, there's a few players we got to talk about. This is more recent stuff, the fresh stuff for you guys that, don't want to eat expired expired meals here. All right. Anyways, PYS. We got Fabrizio Romano reporting. Remember the name Diego Moreira. Agreement between Chelsea and the player who is out of contract at Benfica. Chelsea convinced he will be a 25 to 30 million pound player in a few years' time. I've heard nothing about this guy. He looks like he's talented. I don't know. Enzo would probably know. Chelsea were faster on it than clubs in Italy, France, and Portugal.
Literally no idea. There's about a million. There's about 1 million players that come through that Benfica system. Like, fuck knows who this guy is.
To be fair,
I mean, those players are good though.
When you get these,
not all of them, but most of them.
I don't think Chelsea gonna deal with Benfica for the next couple of windows, man.
I mean,
well, he's going on a free.
This is a free, yeah.
I
think if I'm Chelsea, you know, you might want to sell them a few players at a cheaper price just to regain some level of confidence, respect in it.
True. You can. Will, what were you gonna say?
I always, when these sort of players come in that obviously we've not watched, but I always like to look up Benfica fans' reaction to it, and they're quite angry over this. And I'm pretty sure they called him a lot of names for taking the money instead of re-signing. So, yeah.
So we'll see. Diego Moreira.
I wonder where he'll go. I wonder where he'll go on loan for the next 3 years. That's what I'm wondering.
That's another one.
If we'd have bought them, he could have gone to that Portuguese club we were looking at buying.
That's true. Maybe we should just buy Benfica.
All right. Well, you know what? Hey, Eugene, if I'm blind, you're muted. All right? Please shut the fuck up. You're spamming my chat. It's ridiculous. Okay. There we go. Now that's taken care of. Let's move on to the next one. Here we got understand FA and Premier League are set to approve the transfer for talented 2007 born midfielder Kendry Paez to Chelsea to be signed soon. Still not signed. 20 million euro package, main part depending on add-ons. Full agreement since March. Kendry will join in 2025. He'll turn 18. So this is going into the next stage of the transfer, which is getting it approved through the Premier League and the FA. Good on him.
Anton knows that too like way like too new for you. Like come back in 2 years.
This is right on my alley. Look at this. Look at this.
Bro, like,
Only 6 days
2017.
Proud. We're making progress.
What am I meant to say about this news? I'm not going to see him play for 2 fucking years.
All right, on to the next one.
I'm going to be dead.
Great news headline, man. Great news.
There we go. I think this is something we might have a discussion about. Ian Maatsen. Burnley have communicated to Chelsea they are prepared to pay 30 to 35 million pounds for the player. Happy with development, but currently unsure of his future. 1 year remaining on the deal. Borussia Dortmund are also monitoring him. I'm not surprised with that one. And Chelsea fans with 2 left backs already on the books. How do you feel? How do you guys feel about Maatsen? I mean, for this price, this is a pretty good deal for a player who... Has he played for Chelsea? I don't think he has.
No, I don't think so.
He played like an EFL Cup game under Lampard. That was it. Like, it's not anything to look at.
It's quite a shame because he actually looks quite talented, but he's going to leave.
No, if we sell, what's his name? Colwill. Which is, what's the name? He scoops right in.
He could, but I mean, it depends. It depends what the new deal of Chilwell means. If that means committing future,
or if we sell Moreira, one of those two.
I think he'll
but
be.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I'd say reports are there, like they still believe.
I think we sell him and he will improve our FFP.
I think with Moreira, I think that apparently there's a couple of reports come out said that
we can sell him as long as we get the first dips on him, and that's not the only thing I care. But
I'd say that's the thing is like
I don't know, man.
He is really good.
Get off the bathroom, Ahmed, first before you talk. You kind of echo.
The fee is really good, but like I'm kind of unsure because like it's you kind of want to see how he's going to be in the Prem first for like a season. To see whether he's able to make that step up. But at the same time, it's like that 30-35 million. If that is true, that's a banging deal.
Also,
it's a bit like what we did with Mark Guehi when we got 20 million for him when he'd never played in the Premier League. Marino ripped the hand off Palace for that. So 30-35, that's even better. and with a year left as well.
Although Matt's probably like a more respected talent in the Championship than like Gahey, I'd say. Maatsen is probably.
Actually, I think that was Gahey's first loan to Swansea. I think it might have been. I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I am. Yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me's thinking as well. Maybe you like extend him for a year if he's willing to do that. Send him out on loan to Burnley again. See how they do in the Championship, and then assess from in the Prem, and then assess from there. Yeah,
I'll be down for that.
I rather
if he's willing to. It doesn't seem like he would be. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'd just rather not look for a left back. Chilwell isn't a bad left back. Cucurella, yeah, he's having a bit of a dodgy season, I would say. Like, he's had some good games, but majority bad. I just rather just keep two left backs because we have seen the best of two left backs. Like Cucurella last season was unbelievable. Chilwell, like with Tuchel, I thought like most of the part he was unreal too. So it's just I don't think there's any point looking for a left back for Chelsea. We've got two solid left backs who can.
First of all, I don't think it's even actually up to Chelsea. I think he will push for the move.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well.
I really think.
Yeah, not Chilwell.
Maatsen. It could be a case of he does what Gilmour did, where he doesn't want another loan and he either pushes to
the other guy. Lavia.
What, Maatsen?
No.
Maatsen.
The Southampton right side.
What, Livramento?
Yeah, Livramento. There we go.
Oh,
well, to be fair, that's what Gilmour did as well. Gilmour refused to go out on another loan. He was like, either like play me or sell me, and so we sold him to Brighton. Like,
yeah,
and now he's
so it could be that situation again. Yeah, now he doesn't play. Well, he kind of does sometimes. He's like fourth choice midfielder.
Livramento also died out completely.
He had an injury.
Oh no, he got injured. He got injured. That's why he got quite bad.
Has he been injured his whole season?
ATL. He had an ACL last season.
Yeah, he's been out the whole season. I think he's played like he came back for like a few minutes at the end of the game. I think maybe.
Because he had a setback in his injury. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah, he got a serious knee injury. Yeah, I'm just really unsure. Like as Alex said, it kind of depends on what he wants to do. Considering you've got Burnley are currently interested apparently to pay that, and you've got Dortmund interested in it, and I'm fairly sure they were reported to be interested before he went out on loan to Burnley. I think you can probably push it one more year as long as he's happy to do that again. See if you can extend him by like a year or two, potentially, and then loan him out again. See how he does in the Prem and assess from there. Because also as well, you need to assess.
It's like Marina's. It's like Marina's style. If you want to go on loan, you have to be re-signed in 1 year extension. If you don't want to go on loan, we're selling you.
Well, I was going to say, Alex, that again, if you go off the reports, if he doesn't want to go out on loan again and won't resign, he has to be sold. We've seen there. It says here 1 year remaining on his deal, and they are refusing to let players go for a free. So if he doesn't want to resign, regardless of what happens, by the way, if he doesn't resign, he's getting sold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think another loan would definitely be the most ideal situation because then by then Cucurella would have had 2 years at the club and we'd be able to have a more fair analysis on his progress. We'd be more likely to sell him in 2 years in than this summer. So evaluate them, and if Maatsen's good enough, then he can come back in as a backup. But it's you just got to hope for the best.
If you're willing to sign extension for that like 5, 6, 7 year contract, I will gladly sign him and tell him like, look,
sure,
we'll sign you, but we will send you on loan to any club you want. Not for 1 year, send him for 2 seasons.
I don't think they can do 2 seasons anymore.
Oh no,
I don't think you will.
For me, I can't like.
It's
I was gonna say, I would say with the loan, I'd only make it a year because based on this, he's either going to be playing in the Prem or the Bundesliga, and at that point, you've got enough data and enough like performances to assess whether he's going to work. Also, you've got a year of like seeing how Chilwell and Cucurella work under whoever the next manager is, probably Poch, and then you can assess from there of like are either of them going to be good enough to carry on. If not, okay, we probably need a left back. Or Maatsen's there, so like. I think if we are going to loan him, it needs to be a year max. But then again, it may be a case he doesn't want to.
I don't think Chilwell is I think Chilwell is going to be the one that's suffering from those two. I don't think what's his name? Poch likes the overlapping left.
Cucurella?
No. I don't think he likes
fullbacks.
overlap and players.
Oh, overlapping. Okay.
As far as I remember, I haven't watched.
I thought he
watched
did.
Spurs. Huh?
Like he had Walker and Rose playing as wide fullbacks. They weren't really coming inside.
Yeah, Walker only. I don't. Walker did it because he had the high speed.
Trippier did it as well.
But remember,
Yeah, but it's on the right side. There's never on the left side. I'm talking about the left side.
It depends how he wants to set up. He might have been right dominant at Spurs. Maybe he'll be left dominant at Chelsea. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I told you guys you wanted to talk about Ian Maatsen. It's an interesting topic. Let's go on to the next
There's
player.
nothing interesting about it.
Like, he is an interesting topic.
Kid is getting sold so fast.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it might happen, but I mean, there is a inclination for youth at the club right now with the new owners. So maybe there's a chance he stays. I don't know. It really depends on the Cucurella situation. Chilwell's not going anywhere, so we'll see.
Cucurella is as safe as Chilwell. We literally spent 60 million on him.
We just signed a new contract.
I was going to say, I think Cucurella is more safe than Chilwell is.
Really?
I think they're both safe. No.
I'm telling you, man. People don't understand, but I think Cucurella will adapt.
Yeah.
By the way, it's not like he can't overlap either. He's defensively better suitable in the you know what I'm saying, as a left back than Chilwell. Chilwell does not like to to. He's like afraid of the player that in front of him. He always give him space. I remember Gary Cahill. Every time somebody runs against Chilwell, it's like watching Gary Cahill.
You remember Mane at Southampton against Gary Cahill? He shat himself. I remember those games.
On shitting himself. We have more news here. Chelsea are tracking the situation of Victor Osimhen. It's going to be a crazy fight for him, which we already knew that there was going to be a crazy fight for him, but it's also looking more and more likely that we are going to put our hat in the ring for Osimhen.
Can I just make a bold prediction on Osimhen quickly? I don't think he's getting sold this summer. I'm going to be very.
You think he's staying in Napoli?
Yep. The price point for Osimhen season is going to be ridiculous, and no one's going to buy him.
That's tweet. Sorry, we have better at home. It's Lukaku.
Oh dear.
I agree with Ahmed. Like, people realize as well, he was bought by Napoli for like 80 million.
Yeah. Or euros.
They're gonna want like 120 minimum.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say against that is the fact that it looks like, or it has already been done, that Kvaratskhelia has signed a new deal. So if they are one of them's tied down already. So in Kvaratskhelia, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting. This summer window for Osimhen is going to be very interesting to see what happens and what develops. It's giving me like the Haaland vibes when Haaland was up for sale from Dortmund. And we went in for him. Like, there's so many clubs linked. And
it will only be at Haaland vibes if there is people telling us there's disclosure agreements and no one can talk about it. And is spotted.
We'll see what happens in the summer with that one.
And also, if Osimhen's spotted in Nigeria and people are asking why a Nigerian man is in Nigeria, that's all.
I don't think Osimhen has actually ever talked about leaving Napoli yet. So
he hasn't.
The
only thing he's actually talked about when it comes to other clubs, I think he's mentioned us being a fan of us. And then I think Real Madrid got mentioned as well in an interview, and that's about it. That's about the sum total of what he's spoken about when it comes to other clubs.
Yeah, but it wasn't a question about living Napoli. It was a question.
No. I'm saying, like, I know it wasn't a question. I'm saying, literally, I think he said he was a Chelsea fan or something, or he was a fan of us as a team.
Eugene, if you think that we need Leao,
they asked him something about Real Madrid or Real Madrid got brought up, and I think he said something about Real Madrid being a big club, but like I think that's the sum total of what's been said. So yeah, like
the reason why it's not Haaland, it's because
I don't think he's in any
Haaland want to leave.
Yeah,
true.
Also, as well, it's different than the Haaland thing because, as far as we're aware, he doesn't have a release clause, so he's entirely dependent on De Laurentiis selling him.
Yes,
and
I don't think De Laurentiis likes people like Lukaku and their team, Big Ron. There's no way.
When you say people like Lukaku, what do you mean?
But people like
Hey,
Lukaku,
what do you mean by that, Chief? What do you mean by that, bro?
I know exactly what you mean. Don't gaslight the guy, all right?
People like the ones that talk too much back, too much press conferences. Those
he means
that
big
kind
fat
of players.
bastards.
But,
Yeah, he means big fat bastards. That's what.
fat bastards. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ahmed,
What are you people trying to do, man?
Let's go on to the next minute.
You have back all the way, man.
Anyways, let's talk about.
Don't put me in the category of yours.
Let's talk about our boy Callum Hudson.
Trying to do my
right?
guy Alex, man. How dare you.
Yeah.
Listen.
Don't dig, man. You'll end up in your own hole.
Let's talk about our generational talent here, Callum Hudson. His future will depend on the side, on the side's new manager, who the manager will be for Chelsea. With just 12 months left on this deal, Chelsea have no intention of losing player for free. So for Hudson Odoi, it's extend deal or be sold.
It's time to go, Hudson Odoi, man. It's time to go, bro. It's time to go.
By the way,
I think
if that extension includes pay cut, that extension that they're saying if he signs, there shouldn't be any extension. The only extension it will be to Ahmed's hairline. That's the only extension he gets.
Hey man, keep hating, big man. Keep hating the hairline, man. See that? That's man. See that? Yeah, man.
Like I said, don't wake the beast, man. You know what I was saying.
Sorry, man.
It would be a new contract, though, wouldn't it? Be? It would be a new contract if we get Hudson Odoi to do an extension. It would be
because the club would definitely not give him a raise. It would either be the same or less because, I mean, how can you justify otherwise? Yeah,
by the way, no raise, no same. The guy is 140k.
120.
Okay. Oh,
that's
wow.
A lot.
Okay, 120. You know that we're paying partially his wages when he's playing for our club.
Yeah.
When he's shitting on our club, we're still paying him. That's how sad that is.
It's kind of.
I swear, man, I've never seen somebody at Chelsea that overhyped is that guy.
Odoi. Yeah,
that was one of the worst overhype of the player from
Fake
the beginning.
demon.
You guys think it's even worse trying to sign him on a? I think you should just let him walk on a free.
They're not going to
sell him for 20 mil because nobody will accept his wages. So if he because he's on high wages, he's gonna have to be smaller.
I don't know. It's just weird because in Bundesliga, even he's failing there, and I don't know what other.
He doesn't even
where's
play
he gonna
anymore.
go?
Xabi Alonso.
He doesn't play.
Where is he even gonna go?
Cost of living. Why would I care what your cost of living is, Big Ron? Isn't it your government that made that cost of living? Why do I have to pay for Cho's salary? Because what does he do?
Get out of here, Big Ron. Big Ron, come on, man. What the hell is this comment, man? You must be trolling. All right, let's move on to the next guy.
Cost of living.
Sorry, Callum. You gotta go, bro. It's no room for you in this club, man. All right, and then next one. Kovacic comes back up into the highlight here. Man City have identified Mateo Kovacic as a potential target to replace Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan.
That's not surprising.
It doesn't.
Nope.
Look, there is a good player in Kovacic. He's not had the brightest season due to partial injury in the beginning and now the lack of good performances in the tail end of the season. But I don't even think he wants to be at the club anymore. Even if we get a Pochettino or whatever, I think he's done. I don't see it happening.
There's at times he looks like he looks signed
Come on,
out.
Kovacic, it's time to go back to Italy, bro. It's not. It's
from Croatia, man.
But he went to Italy. He went to Italy.
Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, but before Italy, he was in Croatia.
And
So why
listen,
you
I'm
picking
talking about Serie A. That's what I'm thinking.
Before that, he was in La Liga.
But I don't think he can hack in La Liga. I'm saying
you have
Why not?
that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said Serie A.
Okay.
This is Alex.
He can hack it. He can hack it in C though.
I think he could. I think he's good.
No,
Yeah,
he's
he's a
an
good
armored
midfielder.
No, I don't think so, man. I feel like he's had like quite.
Oh, God of Rocks, absolutely.
He's
100%.
very suited to
I would
City.
love this.
I like Kovacic a lot, and he like if if he could keep like good fit and be at the top of his game the whole season, I could see why like City would want him. But with his injuries, I don't really see City going for such a risk of like, because especially if they sign depth players this year like Phillips, who hasn't been able to play. Like, it feels like he's not been able to play 2 games in a row because he's always been injured. I don't see why they would add another injury-prone midfielder to their depth. I just don't think it makes sense.
What do you guys think of this comment?
When did City buy 30 years old last time? Answer me a question. When did City buy a 30-year-old player last time?
Manuel Akanji.
How old is what's his name actually? The midfielder they bought that doesn't play, Phillips.
Yeah, they don't like him by the looks of it.
Is he like 29 when they bought him?
Nice.
Phillips is 29.
No, Phillips is younger than that.
Oh,
He's 25.
Calvin Phillips? Oh, okay, thank you.
He's 26, 27, around
This
that.
boy is staying here,
I'm
man.
gonna look it up.
He ain't going nowhere.
You don't think he's gonna go either, Alex?
No.
Calvin Phillips, he's been
There's
very
more
useless,
look.
man.
There's more chances of a lot of players going if we will get a top 4. But since
Calvin
the top
Phillips,
4 all of
27
a
years
sudden,
old, by the way, ladies and gents.
Yeah, he's
Continue,
27.
Alex.
Yeah, they don't really buy that like too many older players.
yeah, we don't buy
Yeah, I
old
can
players,
see.
but come on.
Kovacic is what, 29?
27, I think.
28, 29, yeah.
I don't think he's 29. There's no way.
He is
Can't be.
28. He'd be 29 this year.
Yeah, I mean, will Man City buy him? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I
Taking the age out of it, I can see as a player, 100% he would like them buying him.
I
Because how
think
old is
people
Gundogan?
put it too much on how this season and how players are unhappy this season. By all unhappy this season, that doesn't mean by all gonna leave. Name
Yeah,
the
I
player that is happy this season.
I think
Exactly.
the performances.
There's no
I think
such
it's
a
also
player
the
named-
performances, though, Alex.
There's no player
And-
at Chelsea named Op.
No, I say,
Ilkay Gundogan is 32 years old, and he's still going strong for Man City. I could see Kovacic going to Man City and playing and replacing Ilkay Gundogan. Not the same exact player, obviously, but
I'd rather not
mean-
make him stronger. I'd rather not. Like,
I mean, what
unless
do we
they offer
have to
50
lose,
million.
Will? Not Will, Chris. Are we
Losing
going to
a
compete?
No. But losing a good midfielder like that,
We
like,
get a
don't
good
you
fee
think-
out of him. He's not been playing well for Chelsea in recent years.
He
like-
hasn't had a complete
recent
terrible
season,
season.
two
He's also had good games this season.
He's had
Well,
moments, just like Havertz has had moments this season. Doesn't mean shit.
No. Come on, you're just saying Havertz. Havertz is like what done way worse than Kovacic this season. You haven't
But
done
those
that
are the
bad.
glimpses. Remember when Scott said those are glimpses?
No, it's not even glimpses. Like he's had many. He's had a few good games still. Like not like 3 or 4. He's had like.
I'll
probably,
be honest. I'm a massive fan of Kovacic, but to say that he's been like better than Havertz is kind of disgraceful. I can't lie. Like Havertz has.
No, I'm
been-
not saying he's been better. I'm just saying that, like,
No,
saying that
I
he's
can
had good
actually-
performances
I can
doesn't
say
mean
he's better
shit.
than Havertz.
Not
Of
this
course.
Yeah, he is
season,
better than
but-
Havertz.
No,
But I'm just saying, like,
Not even a
you
question.
know, it's like the term what you're saying. What you used to say, Will. This season, he's kind of been a moments player. He's just had good moments throughout the season. He hasn't been good.
I'm fine with keeping Kovacic if he wants to stay. Like, fine with it, whatever. Good player. I don't see. him
Yeah, I
back-
think he's a good player. But it's just, I just don't think he
How
wants to
many
be
years
here.
he got left on his contract?
His contract
probably
ends in
two.
2024. There'll be one as of next season.
Oh,
As of
that's
the-
a different story. That's a different story.
As of the
But
summer,
I
it'll
don't
be
think he
one.
will be sold to City though. I think he could be sold because I didn't know he has only 1 year left. But
He could
I
go to
think if he
Bayern.
will be sold, I don't think he go to City.
Bayern do
It's
need-
possible he could go to Bayern.
They do.
I don't think he goes to Bayern.
You don't think so with Tuchel there?
Nope.
It's cost effective though for them, and Goretzka's been dog shit recently. So
I'll take Goretzka.
no.
Damn. All right.
I'll
well,
pass on Goretzka. I'll pass.
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Kovacic. I like him, but I won't miss him if he leaves. It'll be okay. I think we'll be fine.
I'll miss
As
him.
long as we get in context and it
Yeah.
not a big cry for me. Kova, Mount.
And Conte's been looking decent. Conte's been looking
Bloodbound.
decent in recent games.
Well,
have
he
to
hadn't
give those
played.
to-
He hadn't played whole year.
Yeah. He's fresh. He's got fresh legs. All right. On the next topic that I want to talk about is we have some new goalkeeper links that I wanted to share with you guys. So,
Well, I thought we
update on
already
the
signed
goalkeeper
them.
situation. No, on the updates on the goalkeeper stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about Edouard Mendy. He wants to match Kepa's 190 million pound a week wages, but the club seems reluctant. There's also a feeling that Kepa is not worth that salary. That's nice to hear. And should be good off. And should a good offer come for Kepa, Chelsea would let him go. What were you going to say, Scott?
Just that last line made me really happy.
Yeah, I hope it's true.
The sooner he leaves, the better.
Somewhere in Australia, down under, I hear the tears.
Yeah, the sooner they're both like I like Mendy, but his head is not in anywhere near the right place it needs to be in terms of being in good form. And like, you know, if he wants those wages, he doesn't really deserve them. It probably is time to go, and then Kepa can leave fucking first offer that comes in.
Yeah, I agree. Chelsea have contacted representatives of Inter Milan's Andre Onana, Borussia Dortmund's Gregor Colwill, and Brentford's David Raya as they target a new number one. This is starting to heat up, which I like. I like Onana as an option. Raya, I don't think is a bad one either. I probably would prefer an Onana. And I don't know enough about Colwill. I'm not sure if he's the right.
Colwill's good.
Profile either. And then the next bit of news relating to goalkeepers. Fabrizio Romano reporting Chelsea are informed on the conditions of the deal for goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili. Thank you, Mamardashvili. But there's no time to enter into advanced talks as both clubs don't know who their new coach will be yet. Leicester have also approached this goalkeeper.
Where did we get Kepa from?
Athletic Bilbao.
Bilbao. Okay, not. This is Valencia. No, it's
Valencia. Yeah,
no, Valencia. Yeah.
So we got him from Valencia, right?
No, we got him from Bilbao, and this guy plays for Valencia.
Okay.
I think the last keeper that went from Valencia to the Premier League was Guaita.
I think so. Yeah, it was.
I've never goalkeeper ever. I've never seen a game of him in my life.
No,
the thing is, I think a lot of these goalkeeper options like Colwill and the other guy, gentleman from Inter, they're good options. But like, there's another guy in France, like that's actually
from Inter.
Listen, there's another guy in France, Lafont, that I'm surprised we're not being linked to. Because if you are going for this,
I remember you sweating.
I can't lie to you, Ahmed. Like,
somebody in France. Bro. Yeah, I remember Ahmed.
Thank you, man.
What's up with you on French players?
I can't even lie, by the way.
No, it's respect. I like it. No dig. Dig. I think French is good. French league has a good players.
Yeah,
I agree with Ahmed on that.
Maybe it's just me when it comes to goalkeepers and just being a bit like
PTSD.
Uneducated. No, not that. Like, just uneducated when it comes to goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's like a Mainyan, all of these goalkeepers just fall under the same bracket for me. Like, it's like, bro, I'm picking hairs in terms like which is best and like which is going to be the best.
I feel Onana gets a really bad rep.
Being uneducated on goalkeepers.
I feel like Onana gets a really bad rep because of the steroids that they found in him and the suspension he got from that. A season ago, I want to say. Last season. But
I don't think
outside of that,
he has some Bozo moment. He has some.
I feel like
Bozo
I feel like a lot of goalkeepers do have that though.
Yeah, but the ones that you notice in a big game, and he had those.
Wasn't
he from what's the name from
Ajax?
Ajax. Yeah.
Ajax. Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this goalkeeper race develops.
I have no idea who, so I will actually trust the process.
Trust me. Trust the process. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, like the goalkeeper thing, like there's some guys I'd prefer, but as I said, I'm so uneducated.
Goalkeeper steroids, it's like chess player get the steroids. Like, what the fuck is the purpose? As a goalkeeper, to get steroids, what's the purpose of it? Like, are I gonna
push
make
the ball
it
out
what?
further, man?
Oh, those are called lenses.
No, but do you think that actually can improve your performance? It probably wouldn't improve your reaction time, but you could probably jump higher. You can probably throw the ball further, kick the ball further.
I seriously doubt it, man.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to a goalkeeper, I'm really looking for like reaction time and the ability to be a good shot stopper.
I'm
it's
looking
nice
at,
to have
don't-
ability
I
to
don't
distribute
think-
the ball, but
I don't think this is how the actual things work. Maybe I'm not. I'm not saying I'm I know what's the. I just thought that actually they give you more, like, how you say it, like run longer.
Strength.
Yeah. So I
Stamina,
don't
maybe?
understand. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not that.
I'm not.
Obviously,
in the
I
world
don't
either.
take no steroids, because if I took a steroids, I definitely
You would have a
didn't
vein
take it
down your
right.
head, man.
me and Andrew do not know what the steroids are.
Yeah, we're naturally aggressive, man.
We're
That's
natural.
what we are. You know? Naturally aggressive. Yeah, we don't need steroids.
Yeah.
Man. You know what I mean?
What are you gonna say, Oliver?
Ahmed took it steroids so bad the hair ran away.
Oh,
I don't take steroids. You know. I make my own muscles. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
natural.
Thank you very much.
Makes his own natural muscles. Let's go, man.
Yeah, man.
That's what I'm talking about. What were you gonna say, Oliver? You had something. I think you had some news to pull up.
Yeah, well, it's not news. I'm just looking at Mamadashvili's.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at his FB ref. He doesn't really look like anything special. He basically lets in about as many goals as you'd expect based on the shot
Oh,
quality.
that's good.
So nothing special.
Okay. All right. So nothing to cry home about. We'll see what happens with the
But
goalkeeper
But
situation.
nothing outrageously bad though, which is a positive with a goalkeeper. Because
No,
I guess so.
Felix
He's
in the
just not
chat,
gonna-
thank you for explaining the steroids, because I have no clue about steroids.
No, it's just on average. He's not going to win you points. Basically, he'll let in what you expect him to let in.
Diuretic.
Diuretic furumicide. Jesus, I don't. Wow.
It's a sleep
All right.
in, sleep.
No. They didn't found the steroids apparently in him. They
Yeah, it was
found
sleeping
the
pills.
stuff
It was
to
sleeping-
get rid of the steroids.
Mm.
That's what I've understood from what Godafrog said.
Oh,
So you see what I'm saying? Like, they found something that supposedly helped to get rid of steroids in the body, but they didn't find the steroids itself.
I understand. Oh,
yeah,
that's a
See what I'm
very
saying?
interesting
So
case.
they like, oh,
That's a
why
little
do you have
suspicious,
this?
too. Yeah. I'd be suspicious though. If I saw that, I'd be suspicious.
Could be
But-
because he was Russian. I will blame Russia. They have steroids shit. Like,
True. All right. I don't know if that's true. Let's go ahead and talk about our boy
he's
here,
staying.
Levi Colwill.
he's
Yeah, he's
staying.
fine.
Let's see. Liverpool and Manchester City are ready to sign Levi Colwill in the summer. Klopp and Pep have identified him as a key priority this summer. Chelsea does not want to lose him. We move on to... Oops, shit. Hold on. Move on to... Fuck me. Hold on.
No.
On to the next bit of news.
Should be here.
Here we go. Levi Colwill will not leave
Ben
Chelsea this
Jacobs.
summer. He's your favorite, Alex. Club has 3-year option on the contract. He will be back in the club next season. He won't be sold or loaned. As previously reported, Chelsea view him as an elite level prospect.
Exactly.
For those asking, the 3-year option means means Chelsea can extend Colwill until 2026. Current deal expires in 2025, but with a club option to extend by an extra year, which is good thinking on Chelsea's behalf. Did he sign that contract this summer under the new management, or was that previous?
Say that again, sorry.
Was that contract signed in the summer before he went to Brighton,
Yes,
or was
before
that
he went on loan.
Yeah, before
Okay,
it was
so-
Brian.
good?
That's a
Good
policy
thinking
at
on
Chelsea. I don't think it changed from Roman to Bole. I don't think that's the part that changed. They still view
Okay.
it as a threat, not signing on loan with 1 year left on the contract.
thank
Gotcha.
God. Well, thank God.
All right, and then Fabrizio Romano here confirming Chelsea want to keep Levi Colwill as he's considered a top talent. No doubts on club side amid interest from the other clubs. Colwill wants to feel important and play. Contract expires in 2025. The option to extend and be activated in case he plays big amount of games. Only be activated in case he plays a big amount of games. So, how do you guys feel about Colwill? Is there room for him in the squad? I think there is. But yeah, how do we feel about all this?
Just look at the future, him and Fofana.
Yeah, I could see that being really fucking strong. I like Fofana. I know a
think
lot of people don't
he-
rate him this season, but I think he's been really good. Go ahead.
No, I think Fofana proved actually that he can and he will become, because he's willing to. Like, from the first couple of games of the season, Fofana was kind of like, oh, he doesn't know how how to defend. No, it doesn't have nothing to do with he doesn't know how to defend. It's basic thing how to play in a pair. He knew how to play with specific center backs. It's kind of hard.
I think
Badiashile, look, you cannot have a full team. You're right. Badiashile looks good too. Agree. The problem is you cannot have 2 center backs and nobody out. So you have to have a Badiashile. You have to have somebody behind Fofana.
The likelihood is anyway that Badiashile is probably going to be the first choice at, like, depending on what happens with Silva, right? Badiashile may be the first choice as left centre back. Like, say they played a back 4 next season. Depending on what happens with Silva, what the plan is with him, it could be Badiashile and Fofana are the starting pair, and then Colwill was the immediate backup at left centre back.
Exactly. And it's okay because he's still young. Don't forget that he's still young player. That doesn't mean I think he takes the number 1 spot without ever playing for the number 1 team, for the first team. People think that, oh my God, if he plays good, that means that he established player. He's nowhere near to be established player. If he goes to City, is he going to be a starter?
Absolutely not.
Real Madrid, is he going to be a starter?
Absolutely not.
What if someone comes in with this price, 80 million bid?
Still wouldn't.
Really?
No, he's really good, high talent.
It's not even necessarily that. It's because we're not in desperate need of the money to the point where, like, you can, like, even with, like, needing to hit FFP, right? We don't need that money, and even if we did, we can make it from other players. So, like, like, we're not in a Barcelona situation where we need to get as much money as possible, or like a Milan or something, like, where they're fairly broke, so they need as much money as possible. Like, if you can get anywhere close to that from, like, Mount, cool. There you go. There's the money. Like, the same amount of money you were going to get anyway.
Maatsen is the higher priority of selling than him.
Oh, I was saying, like, you get, like, 30 mil from Maatsen.
Robin Loftus-Cheek. Plenty of it. Trevor Smith. I think it's a troll, and Silva might be leaving for Fluminense. I think it's a trolling part because I think somebody from that camp just signed the jersey, had the interview from Fluminense. It's his first club. He got the jersey, took a picture. I don't think he's actually going to leave. It's nonsense.
So, David, thank you so much for the £10 super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Don't know if spoken about already. Isn't Chelsea hiring process weird? You should know who your first option as manager is. You only go for second option if first interview fails. Question for the panel. Now, before we go on to this, because we are going to go into some of the manager stuff, guys, make sure you are smashing that like button. Let's get that like button up to 50, please. We're almost there. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you do subscribe, you can engage with the chat as well. Make sure you're checking out the links below. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the show so far. And big up to everyone. So let's go on to the next topic. I didn't mean to cut this one short, but this goes into the super chat that was just sent. So anyways, first part of the interview, this process I want to go through is pretty much everything that's led up to Nagalsmann. Yes, everything that's led up to Nagalsmann, pretty much. Agreement in place between Chelsea and FC Bayern for Anthony Barry, who is going to rejoin Thomas Tuchel coaching staff as expected. And it looked like things were going to go well with the Nagalsmann thing. It looked like, with that being said, they were going to come to an agreement that Nagalsmann was going to come. So the resolution of Anthony Barry's situation also helps clear the path for Chelsea should they decide they want to appoint Julian Nagelsmann as their next boss. Chelsea would need to negotiate his release with and with the Barry issue removed from the equation, there would be fewer complications to such discussion. Then we move on to next. The relationship between Bayern Munich and Chelsea is excellent. It's not going to be a problem for them to reach an agreement over the composition of Julian Nagelsmann. It's up to Chelsea, and he was the favorite. So things were looking bright, and things were looking good. Enrique had fallen off the equation. While Nagelman remains the leading candidate to become Chelsea's new coach since March, talks with Luis Enrique are in standby and also not expected to advance after meeting in London. Chelsea have cooled their interest in Luis Enrique as per Matt Law. And then here, the breaking news that happened 2 days ago. Julian Nagelsmann has now withdrawn from the race to become the new Chelsea head coach. It looks like it's his final decision. German coach is said to be no longer available after multiple rounds of talks. Nagelsmann was top candidate for the job. And the next tweet that I have here actually is one from Matt Law not too long ago. In 2018, Mauricio Pochettino would be the Blues' ideal choice to replace Conte, but there is recognition that there is little chance of prizing the Argentine away from Tottenham Hotspurs this summer. So, lo and behold, fast forward to now, big development. As reported by Fabrizio Romano, I've had confirmation that Julian Nagelsmann no longer considers himself to be contention for the Chelsea job and will not be part of the process moving forward. Very good news for those who want Pochettino. Someone like Matt Law apparently wanted Pochettino. So, on to the details of what happened, why this broke down. Julian Nagelsmann, when asked on talks collapse with Chelsea for a head coach job, he claims that to cancel something, you have to commit to something. This is what he told Sky Sports Germany. It's definitely over between Nagelsmann and Chelsea, different views on crucial points. More details on that. With Julian Nagelsmann, timing was not helping. Chelsea wanted to take some more time and speak to other candidates. Nagelsmann was expecting faster talks. Also, some crucial points on the vision and on the future projects were not agreed upon. So Nagelsmann decided to leave the negotiations, though it's also fair to say that Chelsea's choice was never 100% made or completed. I think this is the last bit I have here. Julian Nagelsmann and timing was a factor because he wants to plan his future, and he knows Chelsea are taking their time to make a final decision. Actually, I think I have one more here for Nagelsmann. Friction between Julian Nagelsmann and Chelsea grew. Chelsea's officials were determined to carry out a thorough due diligence on all candidates before making a decision with the German coach, resenting the repeated interviews and requests for information. All right, so I guess I put this on to the manager, or the panel. Do you guys think it's odd that we went through this process? Do you guys think we should have just gone for Julian Nagelsmann and not even tried to do other interviews or see what other options were?
There was some more news that just came out.
I want to ask the question to your question so we will think of that. Do you see the same similarities with this German manager getting frustrated with all those details and chats and asking questions all the time? Do you see any other similarity with this ownership with other managers?
Yeah, I was just gonna say quickly. There was some more news that I just put in a private chat, which you can add to that, which kind of explains what was being said. Actually.
Wasn't that kind of what I read though? Julian pulled out after having serious concern over the recruitment process at Chelsea. Nagelsmann was also understood to have been under the impression. Nagelsmann was also understood to have been under the impression the job was his and talks were only a formality. I mean,
I personally think this whole process, and I know, for example, Andrew disagrees with me with this. I think this whole process has been fairly embarrassing. In the way it's been handled, in my opinion, at least. Everything I'm about to say, by the way, is obviously in my opinion. I just kind of need to make that clear.
I think he got a phone call of either PSG or Real Madrid. That's why all of a sudden.
I personally disagree. Like based on everything, based on what we're seeing, I disagree. I think it's a case of these guys just took too long because I don't know why you need to go. Why you need to do this many talks and why you need to take this long deciding who your next manager is going to be. I don't see it taking that long ever. I don't see the need. As well, one of the biggest question marks is for me is it's quite clear they don't have a number one target. They're just kind of looking at what's out there. I don't. If Pochettino is always the guy you wanted, right? Just go for him. He's out of a job.
Sure.
Just go for him. If Nagelsmann was the guy you wanted, just go for him. It is quite clear that when you set your mind to something, these owners have shown that money's no problem. Money's no object when it comes to if you're set on something. If you wanted Enrique, again, out of a job, just go for it. That's probably one of my biggest gripes with all this is or with the news that's come out about the Nagelsmann stuff is it's quite clear that there is no there has been no number one. There's been no clear outline of who we want, and I don't remember any club really ever doing that. If someone is able to give me an example, fair enough, but I can't think of a time when a club has sacked a manager and then they've gone
Maybe
into
they
the
want you
recruitment
to
process.
suffer, like you want us to suffer.
Fair, but they've gone into the recruitment process without a clear outline
I can
of
tell
who
you
they
another
want.
thing, Scott. For
Like,
example, how do you know that? For example, if Nagalsmann was number one,
Then
what I'm saying, like if you like what you said is kind of funny actually. You said like if you think that he's your number one target, what does that mean? Like he's supposed to go. Then you go and talk to the guy, and the guy was like in the meetings, you're not impressed.
Yeah, but it got to the point of like that's fair, but again, based on what we've seen, the reports we've seen and whatnot, it's clear that they did at least about 4 different interviews with him. I just don't. Again, this is just me, but I don't get why you need that, man. I don't get why.
I don't get the amount.
I think for me,
I don't get this process for at least to be long. People, by the way, I think people get the Potter situation twisted in terms of them hiring Potter quickly was not the problem. I don't think. In the same way, Alex, I think what it's kind of simple, like a similar way. You know, how you believe that the way that Roman, as a owner, like sacked managers, that was never the problem. It was sacking the right managers was the problem. I think it's similar in terms of I think hiring Potter quickly was not the problem. I think it's not having the infrastructure behind Potter. It's like that stuff, and it's not. It's the money side of it. I don't think hiring Potter quickly was the problem. In the same way, even if we hired someone quickly now, I don't think that's a problem. As long as you've thought about it beforehand, or as long as you've at least interviewed the person you're interested in, you've got a clear plan beforehand. I just think with the way that we've gone about this interview process is,
that's
in
how
my
you
opinion,
think.
embarrassing.
Think of how Bowley thinks when he made the first decision by himself and he made the mistake.
That's fine, but he hasn't got people. He's not by himself, man. And it's like
now he's not by himself, but apparently
I just don't know. I just think.
I think for me, when you look at the whole process, I get the idea of the process is trying to do and everything. I think what has hurt the process, and I think, is that there's been too many leaks, too many of this rubbish and nonsense that have come out. And I think if this was a bit more, been made a bit more quieter, they'd gone about their ways. There wasn't that many leaks coming out. I don't think that there would be that much of an issue, to be honest. Like the thing is, they're not just doing interviews; they're clearly doing background checks on these managers as well before they make a decision.
I kind of see where you're coming from, and I'm not a really big fan of the amount of stuff that's being leaked out there and how open this all has been. Will, go ahead.
Exactly. So that's what I've been trying to say. So for me, I get the interview process and then doing the background check on these players. Clearly, it seems that from what they've done, the background check on Nagalsmann, it's not been great from what they found out about him at the very least. And obviously, with this recent report as well from Nagalsmann, it's not. It seems that they've both, they've not basically come to like the middle of whatever they want to do. So.
Look, with most of the news coming out as fake. Well, let me go through the news that what Marshall said. All 15 of them are based from one specific source, which is Fabrizio Romano. You see what I'm saying? Ben Jacobs, whatever, they all go basically change the letter, change the word. It's it. It's mine. It's the same shit. I just don't believe that there's been so many interviews with Nagalsmann. I don't believe it. I think people there's no such a thing. First of all, you know how people saying that actually exactly. Vevel, how many times I've said every time the manager gets fired and he goes to a different team, all of a sudden the ex-players are going to the new team. How many times? Same thing with Vevel. Vevel is a director of football. It's not hard to put 2 and 2 together. All of a sudden, Nagalsmann is number 1. Which I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying he probably is. But I don't think there's been so many talks. It's like, oh my word, like Scott thinks we had the meetings every other day.
David, real quick, Will, before you go, I just want to read the super chat. David, thank you again for the 10 quid super chat. A club should know how they want to play. Hence, why would you know what manager? Why wouldn't you know? Or why would you know what manager you want? Even with a process, why is it taking so long to speak with managers and identify your needs and their needs and make a decision? Will, go ahead.
I agree.
I agree with both Ahmed and Alex in the sense that Nagelsmann probably only got interviewed once, and there was a few ongoing talks in between to arrange other things and whatever. There probably wasn't like I doubt they would waste their time on more than one interview if they are going through this massive process. Most of the managers that we've been linked with probably haven't even been like formally contacted over the job.
Exactly. I don't think that Bola met any of them yet.
And I think Pochettino, when you've got a board from so many diverse footballing backgrounds that have different input as well, it kind of makes sense for them to have these sort of targets. And Pochettino was a guy we know the ownership have admired even since before we got Potter. And I think even if we were going through all these managers and we rushed into a decision, they would then complain about Bowley being too rash. So now that we've done our due diligence on managers and we've come to this conclusion, whether others have pulled out because they don't believe it's with them, that's on Nagelsmann. That's as much as he might have rejected us. If he feels like he's not he's not the fit for Chelsea, then why would he? There's no point. I'm glad he's pulled out of the race. So
can I be honest too? Like, this is my earnest opinion on this. I think the only reason the links and Nagelsmann being the favorite was so prominent in the journalist space is simply because Vivell was in the board. I think that's honestly the biggest reason.
Well, the thing with Vivell as well is that isn't it Lawrence
because of previous links
actually with the most pull in this as well. I
swear Stuart and Winstanley are doing it, and they're going to give their recommendations to Bowley and Egbali.
But Vivell was the one that worked with him, so there was just like direct links.
Yeah, it's a lazy link almost. Although there was probably truth. There obviously was a bit of truth, but like I read from Matt Law that Winstanley's guy was Poch. I swear. I don't know if that might just be PR coming from the Bowley camp or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I wouldn't be surprised because people don't realize the Poch was actually one of the really likable people as the manager. It wasn't because of like Spurs connection. Doesn't have nothing to do with Chelsea. First of all. Second of all, I don't think managers have any kind of rivalry stand whatsoever. Like, there's no manager has a rivalry. Unless you're Ferguson or Pep at Barcelona, you ain't gonna go to Real Madrid. Otherwise, beside those two, I don't see it.
There's a couple of others, but it kind of depends on certain things. Like Poch has said, he'll never manage Barcelona.
Yeah, remember when Fabregas said never play for Chelsea?
No, but there's reasons behind it. Like he probably never will manage Barcelona.
And didn't Poch also mention in the past that he has the rivalry he feels most strongly to is not Chelsea, it's to Arsenal, obviously. So it doesn't. It's a job at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end,
big job too.
All, how long was he at Spurs? How long was he at Spurs? So all of a sudden he
5.5 years he was at Spurs.
Holy shit!
Well, based on Chelsea years, that's a lot. But
no, he said he sees. He knows there's a rivalry between Chelsea and Spurs, but it's just a different rivalry. It's not like the Arsenal Spurs.
As I said, that's the thing, and as I said, the only reason he won't manage Barcelona is because he was a former Espanyol player and manager, and like the rivalry between them is quite like fierce. Yeah, because it's logistically speaking.
Okay, never heard of that kind of rivalry, but
yeah, it's like a geographical one.
So why is that now like El Clásico or El Cláctico, whatever it is?
Because it's not seen as big, and it's not like the Premier League where like.
And that's my point. Because
it's still like he still probably will never manage him. I'm just saying, like that's the thing. It's the same. Like I think there's other managers.
Oh my word! If he will get the job offer from Barcelona, the guy will go with his open arms.
We'll see.
I don't think.
By the way, if we get in Kompany, I will lose my shit.
Well, okay. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and discuss the other part of this manager race, which is the Pochettino news. Okay, so owner Todd Bowley believes Mauricio Pochettino could be the right person to lead a talented young roster and push their performance to the max. Pochettino has requested figures linked to him to join him if he joins Chelsea. Figures, I guess, meaning players. Then we move on to Fabrizio Romano's tweet here. The conversation between Mauricio Pochettino and Chelsea board will now continue as expected. After opening talks earlier this week, shortlist remains as no decision has been made. Nagalsmann and Luis Enrique out of the race. Spurs didn't approach Poch recently, so it doesn't seem like Spurs are in the race. More on Pochettino. Contacts are ongoing with Chelsea after initial approach, as reported yesterday. He's in the list for sure. Poch was already contender for the job last summer to replace Tuchel. He was in talks with Chelsea board. No decisions made yet. And this is, I guess, Fabrizio Romano's previous tweet here. Chelsea have contacted Mauricio Pochettino in the last few days. It's the first direct approach after last summer when he was in the list. Nothing advanced yet. Nagelsmann remains favorite. Talks will continue. Chelsea want to be 100% sure of their next choice, which again, I don't blame them. Chelsea accelerates for Mauricio Pochettino. In the next few days, the Argentinian coach will begin to negotiate the terms of the contract with the Londoners. This is coming from Matt Barreto. And then we move on to another piece of news here from Matt Law that came out today. The arrival of Mauricio Pochettino would not be good news for all of the Chelsea players, though, as the 51-year-old would back plans for a clear out to cut the 31-man squad down in time to start the preseason. So Pochettino wants to reduce the size of the squad, as he should.
Maybe he should fart over there because it looks like he needed to take his fart.
Yeah, he did. That was a horrible picture.
It shouldn't really be up to the manager anyway. We need to cut that squad down regardless.
We'll see, exactly. There is acknowledgement in the Chelsea squad for Mauricio Pochettino's coaching skills, together with his reputation for being a good man manager and motivator. This is coming from Matt Law again. And then the last bit of news I have here relating to Poch is new direct contacts in the upcoming week with Mauricio Pochettino. Chelsea and him are discussing the project, potential signings, positions to cover, and more. So it's looking more and more likely, fingers crossed, that he is going to be the next Chelsea manager. I only say fingers crossed because I don't want the other options, which we will discuss after this. But some people in the Chelsea board really appreciate Pochettino. Next week is going to be crucial as Chelsea want to make a decision ASAP. Confirmed, Chelsea appreciate Kompany and Postecuglu. Yeah, let's talk about Pochettino first before we touch on those other fucking options. Pochettino. Not the first choice, at least for me. Andrew, I knew you appreciated him. Are you happy with this now over Nagelsmann or whatnot, especially in recent news?
Well, I think the story's coming out last couple of days.
Over Nagelsmann, were you, Andrew? Would you take Poch over Nagelsmann?
I don't know. I would. It really would have been a toss up. I don't have a either way. Okay. I just, you know me, Alex. It's with Poch, it's more about this fan base, how they react to him. That's all. Do you know what I mean? Because he's just
a troll.
Well, partly, but what I will say is this: I think out of whatever the projected list is, and now that we're seeing differing stories of Nagelsmann that, you know, to get the job or wasn't, willing to go into talks or wasn't expecting talks, and then he didn't like certain things. I mean, Pochettino, he was always around the list, but he wasn't like ever favourites. It was sort of like, we'll just add Poch to it. And within the last week or so, he's just jumped in. Speaking on if he comes manager, I'm okay with him being manager. I'm fine with him being manager. He's got an uphill task because some of his fan base won't accept him right away at all. And they'll be waiting for that first performance to jump on anything and go, see, that's why you don't hire a Spurs manager. To be Chelsea, but
I think it's.
I'm really intrigued about this summer in terms of what players we bring in and what players we sell. That's my more intriguing thing, is in more than actually who the manager is going to be. Because I think we're not going to get Europe, so we are going to have to be trimmed quite a lot. So, but with Poch coming in, I'm fine with him coming in. He's going to get my support. I was with Potter right up until probably Southampton game. So you know, let's see. I mean, if he's the replacement after Potter coming in, he's a better manager than Potter. So
He can't do no worse, can he?
For me, it's a completely different. I'm not that good of like the tactician or a person that will be 100% behind and say, yeah, I don't want this. I only don't like Enrique Iglesias because of his style. That's it.
Right.
And another thing that's a big thing, which I think Poch and Nagelsmann did have, it's the train, like the train with the young players. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
For
and
me,
the squad is young.
Squad is young. People forget about it. We do have a young squad.
Yeah.
And what he did at Southampton,
very young.
Then he went into
them. Yeah, he established them and they got all their big moves because Poch was their manager. Do you know what I mean?
Look,
so it's like,
I understand he probably wouldn't be a manager if you will have complete squad with Didier Drogba, Frank Lampard, and all that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those are.
Yeah.
But he could be one of those that actually makes Enzo of the 100 mil.
Yeah.
He can make Ukrainian Mount as you know what I'm saying.
He got Spurs to a Champions League final.
I'm not even looking at him at the Spurs. I actually more look at him at the Southampton level.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's like his accomplishments, you know. But that's what I mean. He gave Harry Kane his opportunity. And developed his game.
Dele Alli as well.
Dele Alli before he dropped off. Fucking
Son was nobody.
At the end of Son's first season, he wanted to leave, and he actually persuaded him to stay and made him part of his plans, and made him the goal scorer.
And I believe in luck. I seriously believe in luck with the managers. I don't care. I just believe in luck. So I think if you get Pep, and you sometimes look at the Bayern. Do you think Bayern was like, oh my God, Pep was our best manager?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
No.
It just sometimes it just doesn't work. How good of a manager you are. Isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
You talk about
exactly. You know, we go on about like, you know, Tottenham tax and everything like that, and it's like, well, you know, Jose's been trying to go on there, Conte's been trying to go on there. We have no idea what this guy's like outside. Well, obviously he went to PSG and stuff like that, but everyone wins at PSG, don't they? So it's like I think he. Listen,
I'm looking this signing. We could do worse. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
we could do worse, but not him.
There could be worse options. I mean, I think that's only really in the frame because he managed Bayern. If we're really thinking about it, right? If he was if he's still at Leipzig or something like that, I don't think he'd be mentioned as high up.
And also,
wasn't he mentioned under Roman to replace Lampard?
No, not really. He was like an outsider, kind of. But
Nagelsmann was never mentioned under Roman.
He would have been 14 then, wouldn't he, Marshall? He's only like 16 now, right?
The thing with Nagelsmann, like we're looking at, and people love to say about how they call Pochettino and Nagelsmann a master tactician or whatever. That nonsense. But you've got Nagelsmann, who at Leipzig had a few opportunities where Bayern got knocked out of cup competitions early. Never won the German Cup, the Pokal, even at Bayern or Leipzig. Yeah. He won a league title, which Poch has done at PSG. Poch has actually got more trophies to his name, I think, as well, or the same.
They have the same.
It's like
I think they've got the equivalent.
Nagelsmann got Champions League final. What
exactly, and I actually enjoy Poch's football more than Nagelsmann's to watch as well. So
I actually don't know how Nagelsmann plays. I watched him 2 or 3 games in the Champions League. I do know how Poch plays, but I was never considered Poch because I don't think Poch was ever considered that. I thought it was a 2-way battle between Nagelsmann and what's his name and Enrique Iglesias.
Right, which means that when they met him, Alex, he must have impressed them a lot to be like,
true.
Yeah,
to be in this. So
yeah.
By the way, because of Poch, Liverpool got all those players out of there.
Yeah, they ransacked Southampton.
He should be his scouting department.
Exactly. They got money because of him. Not money. Not money. They didn't get it because of him. No,
I don't doubt. So here's my look. I obviously am gonna take Poch, right? I think he's gonna be a lot better than Potter, better than Lampard. Obviously, he's gonna make us competitive again. I just don't think he's going to be the manager that gets us into top 4. Not with how competitive the Premier League's turned into this season. With the likes
you think that the Premier League is competitive this season? I actually think Premier League went down this season.
I think that we still have the contenders of Pep and Klopp in the league. I think Liverpool has not done well, but I think Klopp is a good manager and he will turn it around next season. I think that managers like De Zerbi, we have Arteta now in that contention. He's been doing really good with Arsenal this season. You know, Eddie Howe with Newcastle. We even have who am I forgetting?
You're forgetting about Ten Hag. You're forgetting about
Ten Hag as well, and Emery. Thank you. Emery was the other one I was forgetting.
What you think Villa going to compete for top 4?
But they are right now. Why didn't work out? Why didn't work out Emery in Arsenal?
There's
Arsenal are idiots.
Let's bear in mind
also like what you said, Alex. Though also what you said, there's luck that plays a factor.
It's a big factor with managers.
But Marshall, let's also look into the fact that next season will be completely different to this season in the sense of momentum will be cut off completely, and it'll be a fresh new start for everyone on a level playing field. I think, you bring up some valid points about there are a lot of top managers, but are we really saying that Emery is like much better than Poch or even better than Poch? Like really?
I'm not saying.
I think Emery is better than Poch. That's a fact.
Really? I don't think so.
Who asked you? I was just answered the guy who asked the question. Nobody asked you. But Emery has the titles. Emery has a title.
Yeah, nobody asked you.
I think they're
50-50. Wait, Poch has titles. Poch has titles.
No, Poch has titles. Emery has the Europas too.
Oh yeah, he has Europas.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said. Oh yeah, he had Europas. I didn't.
The biggest thing, right? You can make the argument, right? Like you can make the argument either way. Like the thing though with Emery and with Villa is they've had half a season or whatever it's been of learning that system and playing under that system.
Yeah,
and if they improve that,
you are so capping on that Pochettino is quiet. That guy is not a quiet person, man.
No,
are you freaking kidding me?
He's Argentinian, bro.
Sorry.
He's Argentinian.
No, okay. With that Emery, like if they get the right centre backs or if they sort that defence out, and if they can keep Watkins and like Buendia, then they'll be
got
fine.
that Carlos bloke to come back, Scott.
Yeah, as well. If they get I think Pau Torres linked him. If they get him,
That's true, but
they'll challenge. I have no doubts, by the way, that not Nagalsmann. I was going to say because the comment was with Pochettino, we'll get top 4. What I don't think we'll win is titles. We'll win cups. I don't think we'll win the Premier League.
I definitely don't think we'll win titles with Poch, but I just don't see us competing in top.
Well, no, not trophies. I didn't say trophies. I said we'll win cups. 100% we'll win a couple of cups. We're not winning the title. Yeah, we'll win a couple of cups. We've got a good enough. We'll have a good enough team, and I trust that.
He has a good style of football. He knows how to
exactly. I don't think he plays haram to get beat. He wasn't easy to beat as a team.
Sure.
Where we're not conceding. He played decent enough, attractive enough that bump
he
Dele
spanked
Alli
us a couple of times when he was at Spurs, man.
Dele Alli scored one of his ever, and he's a bum. And I said he's a bum when I first time saw him on the TV.
I agree.
Seriously. The reason why I wasn't talking about Poch because I don't think he was even in contention to Chelsea before, because I thought it was between Nagalsmann and everything. The only reason why I was actually worrying about Nagalsmann is because my friend from Russia told me don't buy to it. He's not that good of a manager, and that's it. Seriously, that's the only and I trust that guy because he actually does know what he's talking about, and he said you should be worried if Chelsea gets him.
I gotta be. I think Alex and I are pretty honest. We don't get German teams unless they're in the Champions League, all right? Because we don't, right? We don't. We just don't. I don't watch Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich. I just don't. Do you know what I mean? It's just not one thing that bothers me. So my opinions on Nagelsmann is very limited, but I also think, in my opinion, that, like I said before, I think he was only really top of the list because he managed Bayern. If he was still at Leipzig or something like that, I don't think he would be as highly rated as he is. Now, that's not to say he won't be, But I know,
Yeah.
but I don't know, why. So, can I ask you a question, Marshall? If Nagelsmann was in charge, would you think we'd win the league with Nagelsmann?
I think. Well, the league.
Why?
No.
Oh, sorry. Why do you think? Do you think we'd have more of a chance of winning the league than if we had Pochettino in charge instead of Nagelsmann instead of Pochettino? And if so, why?
I think so. Just because Nagelsmann was doing a good job with Bayern, and he did a really decent job with Leipzig. He was making them very competitive. They were in that top. They were in that top 3 spot.
You can argue the same thing with Pochettino.
I remember he did. They didn't spend for 2 years.
Well, at Spurs.
They didn't spend for 2 years.
At
Spend for
Spurs,
2 years at Spurs.
my hesitation comes into those 2 seasons, or the 1.5 season he had at PSG. That's where my hesitation comes in.
But he won.
That PSG team was not made.
Sure, it wasn't made under his mold. I'll give him that. But this team isn't made under his mold either.
No, but it's more malleable. In that team, you've got Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. And for a manager that wants you to cover the kilometers, run, cover the distances, high work rate, they're not going to do that. It was never going to work.
Big Ron's comment is brilliant. Actually, you should put it up and let the uneducated people like Eugene should read. Do you know your BDs, Eugene? See if you can read it.
I'll say, while people are reading the comment, I have legitimate concerns about some of the things with Poch, right? Like, for example,
there's of course will be.
For example, his, especially towards the end of his Spurs reign and under PSG, those 2 teams, they really struggled to break down low blocks, which we've had that problem many times. Like that's a legitimate concern I have of his. But what he will do is, and I think, and this is actually goes for all the managers. I know you said we weren't going to discuss it, but what you can say, even though the other 2 have limited people have limited knowledge, or they are limited in terms of their managerial experience. In the case of one of them, I saw a tweet about this. I actually think it's quite good. What you can say about all 3 of them is that all 3 of them have been identified for just kind of certain things, and that's that they all play attacking football. They're all known, again, through various amounts of time and experience in the game, all known for talent development, and they are all identity creators in terms of the teams they've all managed have all had a clear identity, and they've built an identity at each club, at the clubs. Like, for example, look at what Kompany has done with Burnley this season. He has took them from an identity of long ball, hoof it, put a big man up top, 4-4-2, all that stuff, to playing attractive football. And it's like Postecuglu has done the same thing at Celtic. Like, from all reports, that Celtic team play one of the best brands of football.
I don't have my
doubts.
I don't have my doubts that Pochettino will come here and play very convincing football.
I actually have a question for Eugene to answer in the chat when you finish.
I just want to say, if you look at what Poch did, when he went to Spurs, he tried at first to play with the established players there, right? Wasn't working, yeah? And then he
got rid of big names.
That's right, he went with the big names, because Harry Kane wasn't starting that
AVB brought him.
Exactly, he wasn't starting he wasn't starting Harry Kane. He was playing like a Europa League sort of from the cup games, and then Poch tried it and it didn't work like the established team. So he just flipped it and started playing the younger players in, like Harry Kane. He kept some established stars that were playing well, like the defense and everything like that, and like I think Wanyama and Dembele in midfield and stuff like that. But and I think you have, and remember at the end, he, like I said, they didn't spend for 2 years when he was there because of the stadium and everything. And also,
you gotta remember you work under Levi, man.
Yeah, exactly. And also,
he's the worst than what's his name? Newcastle used to be owner.
Disagree, massively disagree.
No, he's like behind him, like Newcastle, and then
after the 2019 Champions League final, that team had come to an end, right?
Sure.
And they didn't, or they and probably him included, they'd allowed it to become a bit stale, right? It was the same, like you could tell it's the same 11, everything like that. Everyone was getting a bit older. It's time for freshness, but they didn't do that. And obviously, he are falling out with Levy, and the results at the end weren't good. But to write him off,
my concern, I'm not writing him off. I am not writing him off. I'm going to give him a chance. I don't like him as a manager. I don't think he's the best fit. He was not my first, third, or even my fourth choice, I don't think he was. But the thing is, like, it's not even my fourth choice. I look at what happened after Spurs, and it doesn't paint a good picture for me. And so that being said, I think he will come into the team. He will make us play well. There will be a good identity. I just don't know if he can instill a mentality into these players to push them just to be able to win some trophies and push them into the top 4 race.
I see what you're saying.
Hold
on a second, Scott. Hold on a second. I'm about to actually. My question to Eugene was exactly what you asking. Eugene, can you please type me in what's your definition of what you're saying? You believe process. What's your definition of a process? Because I'll give you a hint. I'm gonna answer Marshall about the same thing. You see, the problem with Spurs was what Chelsea did. My definition of what's the name of progress and all that, and believe it, it's not. It was never about the players. It was about the managers of the same type of play. When Pochettino left, who's the manager after he left?
Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho,
are they playing same style?
No, totally flipped.
And that's the problem with Chelsea all the time, because when you fire manager, you need to hire manager at least somewhere near how they used to play, so it will be a smoother transition to learn something different. So when Mourinho left, who was then?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Why is the difference?
Nuno.
When I was referring to like Spurs after Pochettino and what happened, like
You see
the downfall.
And that's my answer.
Yeah, the drastic downfall that Spurs had after they lost at Champions League. Pochettino looked like he wasn't going to be able to recover it, which is why he got sacked. Or part of the reason why he got sacked.
And
you know our team is very fragile to mentality.
They didn't work. They didn't. But he did a brilliant job on them, border and everything like that. Can I just say to Eugene that it's very strange? You say I didn't see any official news from Chelsea about Pochettino, but yet, like throughout this chat, you've been going on why are we linked to Company. I just
Speaking on Company,
hang on. Before we go to Company, I just want to say, just to in defense of Pochettino, by the way, because it's been talked about his PSG time. There's two things with that. Number one, that season he came in, by the way, he had a better points per game ratio than Tuchel did.
Not overall, though. Stats wise, though.
No, that season.
Just a purely stats basis, his points per game was better than Tuchel that season that he came in. And he came in around, December?
Yeah, it was very late December, yeah.
Also, as well, that season that Messi joined, they were actually they were playing some decent football and they were playing well with what they were playing with Di Maria and Wijnaldum in the side, because they had Wijnaldum as a 10 and a 4-2-3-1, and it was working because Di Maria and Wijnaldum were able to compensate in terms of the pressing side for the other two. Once Messi came in is when their press died, and that's to the point where Wijnaldum came out of the team and they had to change their midfield up because none of the front three were pressing. So there is a legitimate case to be made that said that it's not for as bad as he did at times, you can genuinely put some of that down to Messi coming in. Messi just kind of destroyed that team in terms of not destroyed. That's the wrong way. Made them worse.
Disingenuous here, my friend.
Some aspects, he made them worse.
Mourinho did get sacked, but he got sacked right before he was about to win or potentially win Spurs a trophy. And Spurs weren't even doing that bad. Levy just did not like the style of football that Jose was playing. Which
Bro, do you know who
then goes off to Nuno.
They bought Jose? You know Jose Mourinho wanted a central defender. You know who they bought him? Fucking Joe Rodon or whatever his fucking name is.
I don't
know. I mean, this is what we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, also, the other thing I want to say as well with Pochettino is, again, one of the biggest things that him coming in is going to help with, and I think this is one of the things they've identified with, is look how many young players we've got, and look at how many young players.
I like that.
Squad's totally young. Squad's
I was going to say, let me just run you through some of the ages of some of the guys that were playing that first season he joined, under Spurs. Nabil Bentaleb played nearly 3,000 minutes, 19. Harry Kane, 20. Dyer, 20.
Jesus Christ.
He barely played. Ben Davies, 21. Ryan Mason, 23. Townsend, 22. Ericsson, 22. Lamella, 22. You've got Danny Rose, 23. Like, these are fair, like, young in the sense of like football thing, and it's around about the same age as the guys we've got. So you can see why it makes sense. What I'd say about this is like, Dammy actually tweeted about this. Like, this signing's like a boring signing. Like, it's not an exciting appointment, I don't think, but it's a safe appointment. It's gonna be good. It's just a bit boring. It's not exciting, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
But I mean, on to exciting appointments. You know what would be exciting? It'd give us a whole nother roller coaster. Let's talk about Vincent Kompany and the mysterious fourth choice manager. Mauricio Pochettino is at the top of the list, which also features surprise candidate Vincent Kompany and an unnamed coach who is said to be liked and respected by Chelsea. This is coming from Matt Law, and I'll tell you right now, I really thought it was going to be Jose for some reason. That's just wishful thinking on my half. I understand Chelsea officials had a 3-hour call with Vincent Kompany after last Saturday's game against Brighton. Jeez, that's a long interview. The fourth candidate to make it to the shortlist job is liked and respected, but not revealed. And then we find out that it's Ange Postecuglu, the Celtic manager.
Sorry, do you want to try that again?
Postecuglu. Listen, man. Postecuglu, Rotini, whatever, bro. Don't. I don't want him at the club. I'm sorry. Listen, man. The Celtic manager, really? A Celtic manager? That's the standard that we might as well have stuck with Potter. If we were gonna go with these Kompany and Postecuglu, like why even sack Potter? Just stick with Potter. At least Potter was in the Prem. He's got experience in the Prem. Fucking sake, man. So this is why, like, I'm really hoping we get Poch.
That I hate the idea if you need someone with Premier experience, by the way.
Yeah, same thing. I don't. It's not.
No, but I think what Marshall's saying, like championship or the Scottish League, like
championship, managing a championship side and the Scottish side. I just don't think that translates over to Premier League.
My biggest problem, I just never watched the second of this game, the guy's game. So.
Most of what I know about him as a manager is literally going off people that have watched, like going through Twitter and seeing people that have watched more of him than I have and seeing what they say. Basically, I've read good things. Like mostly, it's
Chris should be a specialist, isn't it? From your country, Chris?
No, he's not. He's Australian.
No. I'm talking about Celtic. Where's Celtic? Isn't Chris?
No, that's
that's Scottish.
I said Scottish. I said Scottish. I do have Scottish in me.
Celtic nation.
I do have Scottish in me.
Celtic nation.
Celtic nation.
Celtic nation, yeah. He's on the right path.
What I will say, by the way, is if this guy comes
it's in, it's Ireland.
We're going to
go swims eventually.
I was literally going to say, by the way, if this guy comes in, we're buying a fuck ton of Japanese players. Is all I'm saying.
That'd be wild.
Bro, this man, they bought. I was going to say, I think in that Celtic squad, they bought something like 7 Japanese players or something, 7-8 Japanese players. Like,
probably Yakuzas.
Fucking hell. But yeah, like it just goes. I have no real, what's it called? Like, particular want to get either of Kompany or Postecuglu, despite the good things I've heard about him. But it just goes back to what I said. Like, at least with all three, again, they have varying levels of success and experience and whatnot. But you can see the idea in terms of they all have like a key link in terms of the clubs they've been at. They have completely changed the identity and like put their own stamp on the identity of the club, and they have a history of like improving young players and getting the best out of young players. So you can kind of understand it.
I can get it. Like I get, and I also see it as a sense like I think give a chance to these managers who could potentially be project managers. I hate this idea of yes men. Like we just talked about it last stream, and I think every manager in a sense is a yes man to one shape or form. So this idea of they are only considered for the job because they're
opinions of yes managers.
Just because these managers are in contention doesn't mean it's because they're just yes men. I think they could be project managers, but as what happened to Potter, the Chelsea job is much bigger than what it looks. And I think the pressures and the stresses that come with it, I don't think these managers are ready for that level. Like, I rather, like, I'm okay with Enrique or Nagalsmann because they've played at the top tier of football. They've played in the Champions League. They know what that pressure is like. Same thing with Jose and Poch. Like, they've played at that level. Anything outside of that, I think it's just going to be a disaster for Chelsea. I don't know if you guys disagree with that.
The thing with Kompany, right? I don't think Kompany is I don't think he's necessarily a legitimate like candidate in this, just because I can't for the life of me believe that they think that Nagelsmann doesn't have enough experience, as was reported at one point, but Kompany does. I cannot believe for a second that that's the case. The Postecuglu one, like I can see being a link, but like with that, I do understand some skepticism, but also like this guy's managed in the Champions League, like he's also won league titles in another league, like, and I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, it's a Farmers League," because like our greatest ever manager came from a league that people consider a Farmers League. Like,
let me tell you something about whatever the guy's name. If we hire him. One thing you can be a stone cold for sure. He never gonna happen. I'm calling him by that name because I still cannot say that name. Whatever that name is.
Call him Angie.
Yeah, they'll call him like they'll do what they did with Aspilicueta when they couldn't pronounce it right away. You know, like that. You know, call him.
I can actually say Aspilicueta.
Call him pasta.
Yeah, call him Bill or something.
Most people could say
Tony. Call him Tony or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
as long as you, Andrew, not gonna get on my neck, you just call him by the real name.
I don't know what they're gonna say. Aspie, man. Why say Dave? Man?
You can't remember half our players' names anyway, man. You know what I mean? You just...
Yeah, but when I was calling Potter, Harry Potter, I was like, just call him by real name, you.
Yeah, like I just, as I said, like if people have reservations about him, it's fair. I just think that the idea of using the league he manages in as an argument is bullshit, personally. I just find that argument completely bullshit. I was going to say, De Zerbi was managing in the Ukrainian league before he came to the Premier League. Like,
let me just say, Arsene Wenger was managing in the Japanese league.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. As I said, like Mourinho literally managed in the fucking Portuguese league, which I would say, like,
but he won a
Champions League with that team. Yeah,
Ten Hag was managing in the Eredivisie, and people call that a Farmers League.
Ajax.
Like this idea that managers in
the Dutch league is higher in Championship.
Yeah, the league wasn't the one that reason we got
Arsene Wenger. I'll take that one. That one's, you're right, but I feel like that's such an exception.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know if there are many managers that come from like.
I understand it's an exception, and people are very snobbish now when it comes to football.
What was the name? Wenger managed in Japan.
It's not even
What's
that.
the name of that team, Big Ron?
It's not even that, Andrew. It's more so like we're Chelsea, you know, and like I still want to try to be Chelsea, that top 4 team.
FC.
I don't want to try to be experimental with like a super secret project manager, you know.
We're really kind of like.
No, what I'm saying is, it's like you'll get different leagues and stuff like that, and but the players will come from the same sort. The players will, when it comes, it's very weird when it comes to a manager to play, like when they come from the same league, it's not. It's sometimes not mentioned because how much you like the player.
Stuff like that. Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, but the thing let me get this right. Let's get this right. Yeah, Scottish League wasn't like it is now back then. Okay, Scottish League was taking a lot of good players from England in the late 80s, early 90s, and stuff like that. And
he won the European competition, Ferguson. So still
exactly.
Okay.
Then the last European competition. So
and with Alex Ferguson, are we gonna like be patient like United, where they had to like wait a couple of years because he's quite.
They waited 5, Chris. They waited 5.
If you're getting results,
no way we'd wait 5.
You can be patient.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way
it wasn't looking good. Wasn't he close to being sacked at the start as well? At one point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was close. He was a FA Cup. Yeah, because he won the FA Cup or something like that.
Yeah.
But but they were going to sack him, but that was like 4 or 5 years into it. Football fans are very easy to please. Okay, they can see some type of progression. You're going to get you're going to get more time than most. Yeah, if they don't see anything, then you're going to get less time.
Yeah.
So football fans are very easy. They're fickle. We are fickle, but we're very easy to please. Yeah.
Nah,
So
Scott is not one.
we
of
are.
those.
Oh, I do.
I don't know how.
I'm fickle as shit, bro. Which part of that? I say, which part of that you saying I'm not? I'm fickle as shit, bro. Like,
No, you're fickle.
I'll even
No,
admit
that's
that.
not.
I'm fickle as fuck.
That's not what I'm challenged. I'm challenged you easy to please. I don't even.
Hey, that might be true. That might be true. But yeah, like as I said, like when it comes to like these managers, like I'm taking Kompany out of it when I say these managers as well. Like if you're gonna have reservations, have it be about their style of play, have it be about their management style, their man management. If your only answer is that league they play in is shit, then you've already lost the argument. At that point, I ain't even like listening. Like if that's your only argument to some of these guys, because what cracks me up as well is again, a lot of what I'm about to say comes from seeing people that are either Celtic fans or like the way that or are people that have watched Celtic. But there are people that say that the way that Postecuglu, like the way they play football and like the way they are playing in that league is better than when they were under Rodgers and they want a quad or a treble.
They invincible under Rodgers as well.
Pretty
So, like-
sure that, yeah.
They didn't lose the game in the league under Rodgers, like when they won one of
Yeah.
their.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just saying, and as we pointed out that they've like been in like poor leagues. You can find so many managers that have done well that have been playing in poor
I'm
leagues.
just happy we're not linked with that Leicester's ex-manager, that fraud of the.
But Rodgers.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Oh,
We was actually linked with him at one point a long time ago. Well, a while back.
Fuck Rodgers.
No,
We was.
there was a forceful links because Abramovich said he will never manage Chelsea as long as he's there.
Yeah, I think people were speculating around the time Lampard got sacked, but that was just speculation. You know, with the history with Abramovich, that was never going to happen.
Yeah. Abramovich
I heard
and
links.
him, that was the one that actually went personal with Abramovich. Never before that.
Well, hopefully everything goes well. By the time we do this next show, Poch is 100% confirmed and going to be the next Chelsea manager.
Yeah, people, don't
It's
watch Twitter,
it's
don't
all
watch
right.
news before the next stream. Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
go
all right.
through
When
there.
Poch is announced, we'll tell you about it 2 weeks after it's announced. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know 2 weeks later.
By
Don't
the
worry.
By the time we stream next time, we'll probably have a full squad and new manager. But we still
there
go
you go.
through that.
And we'll still talk about Nagalsmann
He should lose
getting not getting the job.
manager. Yeah.
But
It's
ladies
a
and
refresher
gents,
course.
no,
I think this is more like a refresher course. That's all. You know what I mean? It's like-
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well,
It's just like a nice
yeah,
little,
look at it.
you know.
You know what's
little-
funny? What's
news, man.
funny that Scott said is actually Scott said if you bring in the arguments saying the Farmers League is a manager, but that's the other people's arguments against defense too. For example, if you want manager, you will say, "Oh, he
Yeah.
coached in the Farmers League." The other guy said, "Oh, this is the Farmers League, so but this one is Farmers League too." So basically, it's like that Spider-Man meme: point at each other,
Yeah.
arguing about the same thing.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. If City wins it, it's still a Farmers League as well.
So all this shit,
Five
we're
in 6
talking
years,
nothing
yeah.
about
Hopefully they don't.
Arsenal. Halfway of bottled the
They
The league?
they're bottling it right now. Actually, are they matching points right now? Actually, let me see.
no.
I think
No, no,
4 points clear.
Arsenal-
with
3 points away?
Two
Arsenal are
games.
five. Arsenal are 5 points clear, but City have 2
4.
games in hand.
2 games.
5 points.
I
5
think.
points. I'm looking at it right
5
now. Yeah,
points?
5 points.
Yes,
2
5
games,
points,
yeah.
but 2
Yeah,
games in
and
hand.
2 games in hand. One of
And
them
they-
is actually against
Yeah.
Arsenal.
But if
That's
they're
gonna be
playing each other
big.
Wednesday, if they're playing each other Wednesday, if City win that game, they'll go 2 points and they'll still have 2 games in hand.
Are you
City
talking about
win
your
on
owners,
Wednesday.
the ground? because mine has only been here less than a year. Yours are there for a while, so big run. Talk to your owners first. I'll wait until my owners catch up with your owners.
Holy shit! Arsenal have not won their last 3 games. That's wild.
Yeah, they keep
Yeah,
drawing.
and have you noticed it since they fell out of the Europa League? Big official.
What happened to Jorginho? I wonder what happened.
Oh my! He doesn't even really play.
He's
actually.
not played.
Was it?
Yeah. And when he,
No. Isn't it he's the best when you are going up and he's like controls the game? Wasn't that where the control is West Ham?
Not playing.
He actually came on and they played better.
Shameless, man.
I was going to say, like,
didn't.
in the last, well, I was going to say, like, this ain't necessarily about Jorginho, but everyone talking about how good Paez is this season. Like, he was directly responsible for that second goal that they conceded against Southampton.
Yes, and versus West Ham, they were attacking so good.
I honestly can't lie.
Problem,
I didn't watch any other
it
Arsenal.
just
I just
died.
watched Southampton game.
Harvey was bad against West Ham as well.
Was he? I genuinely don't
saying.
know. I did not watch the
Yeah, he
Arsenal West Ham
was.
game. I watched the Arsenal Southampton.
Jorginho was slips.
He was so bad. They killed they killed the edge. The minute that he came in, it was a 70-something minute, and there was no more direct attack on the West Ham goal since he came in. They are so threatened when before he came, and there's not a chance. They just pass inside.
He's not attacking.
Losing his head, saying, "What's the point of those passes?"
West Ham literally were the better team.
Hang on. If you watch that second half against penalty, after the penalty miss, they didn't do anything at Arsenal after that, with Partey on there as well, and then Jorginho.
Even
it was all West Ham.
They weren't doing anything. They literally got a
No.
penalty.
No. They still had a couple of like attack wise. I'm not saying those attack of like came as a chance.
Partey was awful in that game. Partey was
Partey was more awful in the second game. Not that. Like last game, that was Partey's pretty bad game. But Jorginho not even in the conversation.
Oh no, he didn't play.
Jorginho hasn't started in the Prem since Everton.
He didn't play against
Everton.
Liverpool either.
He saved him. Who he saved him against? Who was that team he saved him against?
Villa.
Villa. Yeah. Well, he didn't score.
Own goal.
Yeah, he hit the crossbar basically and hit the back of the keeper, didn't it?
Back of the there's own goal. That's not a count.
Yeah, but no, Alex, I saved him for 3 points.
He gets Chris. He gets an assist for that. He gets an.
There you go.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do team with Werner.
If we're going to be shameless,
I'm surprised the guy didn't break his leg by hitting the ball that hard because I know how he can hit.
Maybe that's why
there's a meme somewhere created for me. With Jorginho tried to shoot on target and the ball was like rolling into the goal. This is like
do you know what? I know what happened when Alex was when Alex blew apart that squirrel to smithereens the other week. He was really thinking about Jorginho at the same time.
What did he do to
him? Probably.
It's on the Lewis stream.
Oh, that.
Speaking of Lewis's stream, we're gonna go ahead and raid Lewis. Go ahead.
No, Karen.
All right, we're going to go ahead and raid Lewis. Make sure you copy and paste that raid message over on his chat. Let him know where you're coming from. But guys, thank you to the panel for always providing us with good entertainment, good discussions, and a good show. Big up to you guys. Big up to the chat as well. Big up to everyone who is watching today. Make sure, if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Over like 60% of you actually watch but aren't subscribed. So just subscribe. Why not? It helps. And it makes it easier for you to get your content right at your dashboard. Make sure you smash the like button so it helps out with the algorithm. Check out the links down below in the description for our Discord, our Twitter, all that fun stuff is there. Make sure you're leaving a comment down below. Let's have a discussion in the comments section. I do read them and sometimes I engage.
Yeah, like this. Munoz, big up. Good timing.
Yeah, big up. Big up. But thank you, everyone. We'll be back again, possibly Wednesday, I believe. I'm not sure. Let's see how the week plays out.
Well, that's after the game. We play on Wednesday, remember?
We play on Wednesday. Okay, so after the game, Wednesday. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're going to be up to the news level at that point.
Yep. We'll be recapping fresh results of the game.
Are we going to just do the starting lineup, Marshall?
Yeah, no, we'll do predictions. We'll do predictions.
On
Wednesday. Yeah, we'll do the preview. All right. Big up, everyone. Have a good night. Say what's up to Lewis. Make sure you spam that raid message, and we'll catch you over there. Peace and stay casual.